Wow, you guys are energetic bunch tonight. All right.
Good morning, everybody.
I haven't had a pot of coffee yet.
My day's only just begun.
Yep. All right. Hello and welcome to Black Dragon Roleplay, where we are not professional voice actors. We are not gaming gods. We are just a group of friends who have been brought together through the love of story who want to share our tabletop adventures with all of you. A few things before we start our session proper. We are so glad that you are here live watching us. We appreciate all the support that we have here on Twitch. If you are new here and you want to keep up with the campaign, please drop us a follow. If you want to keep track and interact with us when we're not on stream, hit us up on our Discord. The link is in the information box below. If you'd like to support us, there is a subscribe button. Drop your Prime, support the stream. We would greatly appreciate anyone that does anything to help support the stream in any way. If you can't make it to watch us live on Twitch, we've been posting our weekly shows on our YouTube. Everything that we do, every session we have on stream on Twitch goes live to our YouTube channel within the week. Black Dragon Roleplay on YouTube is where you can find all of our content. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I know what you're thinking. One does not simply hit the subscribe button. But no, really, you can. You can just hit it. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, it was an off week. It's an off week.
Oh.
They all can't beat Grand Slams. Can't.
It hits different.
I thought it was great.
I thought you'd appreciate that, Bert.
Almost all of Sean being the character.
No, I think that's why it hits differently.
Yeah.
It'd be hitting different.
I'm just going to stay quiet.
Yeah, that's best. And without further ado, I think it is time to start tonight's session. Previously, we found our group at the Happy Gnome Inn, recovering from a battle in which they were forced to dispatch an impressive band of bandits that had kidnapped Saoirse's mother. While enjoying their downtime, they began to befriend a young traveler named Emmy. While getting ready to leave for Roteberg, the team is messaged by a former ally, Grand Mage Saga, who reached out looking for information of their mentor and friend, Notri. A battle ensues when Captain Sigmund Schultz and his Talon Vanguard group question and threaten to imprison the party if they do not actively help capture Notri. During the start of the battle, Emmy does her best to stay out of the action, but as things look more and more rough for the group, she drops her magical darkness, comes out of hiding, and casts a powerful lightning attack that downs 2 of the 3 guards hit. Just as things begin to move in the party's favor, a halfling guard throws a small metal box into the tavern that slams open, scaring a small fey rodent inside, causing them to excrete a powerful toxin that causes half of the party to be paralyzed. Schultz pauses the combat as he now feels he has a large advantage over the group and tells them to throw down their weapons and come peacefully. Branimir stalls as Camiel convinces the Furs that she can take good care of him if he goes and freezes the captain and his guards just like he did her friends. The plan worked, freezing Schultz and all but 2 guards, but it also froze Boltzmann and Branimir, leaving the Azamar as the only still standing party mate. Camiel takes Schultz hostage as she desperately tries to figure out her next move. Not knowing what else to do, she takes the Ring of Sinding and messages one of the group's most powerful allies, Notri, asking him for help. After a few moments, a green portal opens and in walks the gnome cleric himself. After freeing Schultz from paralysis, they discuss what should happen next. After only a few moments, Notri agrees to go with him so that the party can be free. Notri tells the others that they need to find the truth about the Shadow Queen, the truth about Ear, and why he remains inactive when hearing about the impending darkness that threatens Amma. Notri leaves with Schultz, and the rest of the guards clear their men from the tavern. Eventually, the paralysis ends on the party, and emotions are very high. Emmy, after almost leaving, is inadvertently reminded of the words of her mentor and tutor, and her need to help others with the gifts that she's been given. Camiel, who feels the guilt of being the one who asked Notri to come and help, is reminded by her patron that she is there to help others as well, including Branimir, whose loss is the deepest. Feeling like he should be rejected by his patron when he rests that evening, he is still greeted by warm, bountiful wheat fields and also given direction with flashbacks of 2 items, a Celtic heart shield connected with the ear family, and a jade-covered scarab. And that is where we left it, as you guys, we went ahead and did Branimir's evening time as he kind of rested first. Is there anything that you guys want to do before you rest for the evening? Here at the Happy Gnome Inn.
Is it actually evening? We went through the whole day. Like I remember this starting as like morning.
It was starting in the morning, and then we kind of we did like kind of the breakdown and kind of spent most of the day there, and then kind of somewhat fast forwarded to the end of the day. If there's anything that you'd like to accomplish before we call it the day, then we can kind of play with that a little bit. Nobody has
I don't think there is on Boltzmann's side. Yeah.
Yeah, Sirsha, the only thing Sirsha probably would have tried to do was find the owner of the, and we don't have to play this out, she would just find the owner of the inn to ensure she paid enough for the damage she caused with the explosive arrow.
Okay. Yeah, you'd find the gnome himself and kind of be able to talk to him without causing too much of alarm. You guys are paying for rooms already. He says it's not a big deal. He'll accept if you offer him a gold, he'll accept it though.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, Camille is she's out. She's out.
So she ends up leaving for and finding a place outside.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on one second.
We were just getting Emmy was just getting the story. It was story time with drinks and milk and learning what was going on and why she would even choose to be associated with these people when they seem to be, in fact, enemies of the state.
Enemies of the state.
Although, if this is at least clarified by somebody in the midst of the conversation, just to clarify that Schultz said that they were no longer being hunted, they were no longer being searched for. Like, if that's actually the case, like what's the situation there? Are they good?
From what was told to you guys, the deal was if Notri were to surrender, that everyone there was free and clear, that there was no issues. Everything in the previous, that they even there were things that he had talked to about Boltzmann and Branimir. But even in those private conversations, he was willing to waive those in lieu of Notri.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. We may or may not have killed 2 of his officers.
Wait.
I
The word "we" is appreciated.
Wait.
Ante,
Wow.
watch it.
Aw. Emmy smiles through the pain.
So yeah, throughout the evening, you guys have been talking about making sure that you guys are okay, making sure that you're filled in at least a little bit on the background, talking to them, talking about how Notri was a mentor of the group, how kind of everything started with Notri within the group, and then talking to you about how the real threat is the Shadow Queen. And somehow that they've come to realize that even though, well, how would you explain it? Have somebody explain to Emmy what the actual problem is that you guys are going up against?
I believe Dante did
Yeah.
reveal
Okay.
information last week. So he laid it out pretty simply, that the world is in mortal danger from the Shadow Queen, and that not everything is as it seems, and we're suspicious of a lot of people in the even the inner circle of the king, the king's circle. And as Notri pointed out or whispered to us, we basically can't trust anybody. And we are now on a mission to answer a couple of questions that may help get Notri out.
Which Emmy compares this to one of the old storybooks that she loves to read. And surely it's, the king's advisor is always the one who ends up being the bad guy. So, they'll be able to play out a fun story as they save the world. For real this time, and not just in the books.
No doubt. Tate has a little chuckle to himself at that. He sort of looks to everybody else. Was that everything covered? Did I miss anything? They'll spot Boltzmann and be like, Boltzmann, I'm sure I missed something. Your keen analytical ear, I should say, probably noted some discrepancies. Why don't you take over while I go and get really drunk and pass out?
If anything, lately, Boltzmann's just been really, he's quiet, yes, but a bit more quiet than usual. He's not really responding much to conversation. He's deep in his own thoughts. And as you mentioned, if Boltzmann missed out on anything, if there were any missing details, Boltzmann would just snap back to real space. He'd just look around and yeah, sure, everything's fine, and you told all that needs to be said, I guess. Right. And then after that, Boltzmann would just space out and go back to just sitting there, even tiny bit sinking into his seat.
Oh, goodness. It sure has done a number on y'all. I suppose Notri really was very important to y'all.
He true is. It just doesn't feel right handing him over to, them and all that.
Well, it seemed mighty noble, whatever he was up to. I'm sure he's got something planned. If he was something like a mentor to y'all, then he's certainly got something planned to keep himself safe. I'm sure of it.
Hopefully. Yeah. Boltzmann shakes his head. You know what? There's no point in thinking about what might happen with Notri. I think we should just focus on what we have on hand. What we're supposed to do right now.
With Bran's ring, we can always check in with Notri, make sure things are okay on his end.
I don't know if that's wise. Knowing the king's court, he might have some sort of enchantment.
Probably put him in an anti-magic cell or something similar. Probably have that sending traced back to us, then we're gonna get hunted all over again. Oh joy.
Precisely.
Yeah, no. It's just...
Well, that's a good
just
point.
focus.
I don't trust this Captain Schultz anyway. Seems strange to me that he would have turned so easily from threatening us with prison to letting us go free just because he had no tree?
That is what he wanted after all, isn't it? A lot of people get mighty nice once they get what they want.
He had a job to do, and he did it. It is curious that he didn't arrest us for killing 2 of his officers, but what's done is done. We've been cleared.
Boltzmann shoots a look at Dante.
He's
mention of that.
He's not even paying attention to it. So we have free reign, so to speak, or at least we have the freedom to do what we need to do. We're in a war at the moment, and sometimes in war, you get a bit of a licking, you fall back, you try again. We'll regroup. Notary told us 2 things that we need to look into, and if our little friend is right, no doubt we'll find the answers we need, and if we succeed, we will hopefully clear Notary. Maybe find out some more information about what exactly is going on with the king and his advisors. As Emmy said, no doubt one of them is to blame for all of this.
Y'all have been traveling together long enough. I'm sure you're able to regroup and you'll come back stronger than ever.
Exactly. Bran looks at Dante looks at Bran and Camiel's not there, but he looks at Bran. Is Bran there?
Bran is still there.
Yeah, Bran's still there, but it's before he gets his vision.
Okay. Well, he doesn't seem to want to say anything, so Dante will sort of shrug to Emmy. This is sort of what you're in for if you travel with us. Everybody gets mopey. Everybody turns into little children at times, but you know, sometimes you just have to put up with children. Not me, I don't have any, but or maybe, I'm not sure, maybe I do. Probably, possibly somewhere, but
oh my.
Yeah, you learn to deal with it.
Well, how about she looks around at the group and of those who are here, and she sees it's very obvious the field is very low energy, and it just seems to just spread all around, to which she takes her glass of milk and she just chugs the rest of it and she slaps the glass back down, and she gets up, curtsies to everyone, and goes to like the middle of the tavern. And not a big display from her specifically, but I'm gonna cast I have its cantrip. Where is it? Thaumaturgy. And it allows, let's see, minor wonder. I don't know if multiple things can happen at once, but she smiles. She smiles and like gets nearby people's attention, and she lets her voice boom so that it can be heard by everyone inside.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Good evening to all of our lovely patrons here at the Happy Gnome Tavern, and I want to thank in particular our very fine establishment hosts, who are in fact very happy gnomes, and we've always been happy to be here. I would like to thank all y'all for being such great patrons of this city and of this tavern. And I want to thank y'all with a little tune." And she looks. She doesn't know if anyone actually can play, but if not, she goes a cappella entirely. But she adjusts the lighting so like the lights flicker different colors as like mood ambiance, and she starts to sing a fun kind of karaoke style, upbeat, adventure-y tale to kind of lift everyone's spirits in here.
Okay. Roll a performance check.
Yay, charisma! Let's see. How'd we do? Oof. Okay.
Too bad. So you make this proclamation, and you get up onto one side of the tavern. The gnome behind the bar just has like a very his eyebrows are kind of lowered and eyes are kind of squinted as he looks at you, like not remembering hiring anyone to do any musical act or anything, but allows it to happen and sees you walk up there. You do okay. You get a few people kind of turning their heads and kind of looking and following along for a little bit. You did all right.
Cool. It was mainly for them, for my friends, my new friends. But
Well done. Dante gives a clap, an enthusiastic clap from their table. Well done, Emmy. Well done.
Yeah.
He nudges Boltzmann.
Boltzmann would also like clap with him, not enthusiastically. So something like a how do you call that? Like something like a golf clap or something. He just
Polite clap.
He just he appreciates.
Condescending.
I don't know how. No, Boltzmann would actually appreciates Emmy's effort, and all that. Yeah, he would.
There were,
he would
words
actually
changed.
He would actually smile.
A smile. There were
I think
names
actually-
of adventurers changed to be your names suited in there.
Had this
Yeah.
been any other situation, I think Bran would have also appreciated the gesture, but at the moment, after having lost Notri, I think Bran would simply down his tankard of milk and simply raise the empty tankard in the direction of Emmy. As a
She appreciates
gesture
it, I'll
of
say.
appreciation. Yes.
She hops off the table and returns to the others, and gets herself some more milk. You should do that more often. That's fun.
The gnome behind the bar, filling your other milk. Thanks. This one's on the house. Nice job.
Oh, you are too sweet. Thank you.
But you still have to pay for your room. It's not free.
Why, I wouldn't dream of anything different.
How many rooms did we purchase?
Sorry, my internet went out. What happened? What did you guys say?
How many rooms did we rent?
There was, I believe that there was 3 rooms, and then Emmy already had a room there.
So a total of 4?
Yeah.
Alright.
Huh.
So I assume it's the same sleeping arrangements
Well, we can't expect
as
Emmy
per
to.
usual.
I can't expect Emmy to share. We can't muscle in on her just yet.
She wouldn't.
And Camille likes to sleep in the bushes, so
It's the usual
Fuck yeah,
Brandon
bushes.
Boltzmann. It's the usual Brandon Boltzmann, and then the pair who play as husband and wife. Yeah.
what do you mean? We each get a room by ourselves because you two are sharing
Exactly.
head to foot, right?
Oh wait.
That
Didn't-
that was back at the Ugly Duckling where they were pretending to be husband and wife.
No,
Yeah, we've
Is
got
that
three. We've
still
got three.
going on
like
now?
We've got 3 rooms.
Wait,
the third room isn't supposed to be like for Saoirse's parents. was it?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
got their own room, didn't they?
Exactly.
Womp,
I
Emmy,
think
womp.
Emmy can use Camiel's room since she's hardly even using it anyway,
No,
so
Emmy-
she may as well.
Emmy has her own room.
Yeah, Emmy had
Yeah.
her own room. I would say the parents probably had their own room. There's enough room.
I thought that's what she said like a couple of weeks back. No, last week.
it's-
Last week.
It's been a while.
Don't do
It's
it.
been a while.
Don't do it.
It was already there in my head too.
Training. We're like sheep.
Smart sheep.
Smart sheep. Yeah.
Musically inclined, smart cheap.
But either way, we know Brandon Boltzmann want to share a room together, so
As
we'll
per usual.
sort the rest out. Don't you worry your pretty little heads.
Yeah. So as you guys, anything else that you guys want to take care of tonight?
Yeah. At the end of all that, Boltzmann would just get up. He would go. He would politely say goodnight to everybody. He'll go up to his room, and before going up, he would just tell anybody to that if they've got anything, the usual. If they need anything fixed they can just leave it with him. And when he gets to his room, he's just going to do his usual prep and usual item maintenance, and then he just go to sleep.
Bran will actually not cook tonight. As sad as it is to waste a perfectly good kitchen. To waste a perfectly good kitchen, Bran will not be cooking tonight, as he is definitely not in the mood for it. It's probably just going to be little pieces of coal that are served on a tray.
I think
So
I think they'll let the inn take care of my food tonight.
so he will head straight to bed.
And I think
Proceed to have the dream.
for Saoirse, then probably the last thing she would want to do in the afternoon, probably before any shops closed, she would check with Boltzmann. She would check with Boltzmann to see what materials he would need, and she would go to purchase the crafting materials for 2 more of those explosive arrows because she liked them.
How many did you? Again, how many did
you
you
get-
use last time?
Yeah.
It was just one, right?
Yeah, but I'd used one. I used one trying to get those bandits who'd kidnapped her mother. So she used up both of them. And that's why for now
okay.
she would just get enough materials for 2 of them.
All right. And Boltzmann would give you a small list, just some hardwood, metal scraps, and even some blasting powder of sorts. And I think it would be like 50.
You have black powder?
Oh yeah, I think we still have black powder from
Yeah.
as a leftover.
We have that huge barrel.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
got
kept it in my bag of holding.
Best place to keep it.
20 kilograms of. I think that's what it was.
I think we have enough black powder.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would just Boltzmann would just need some metal pieces, some finer pieces such as like springs and such, and yeah, he would just tell you that, and he'd go back to work.
Yeah, and it was 50 gold per arrow. So
Yeah,
assuming
I will
she
say
can do
that,
what she needs.
I will say that springs are harder to come by, and this is a very small town. So you would not
Yeah.
be able to find springs here.
Okay.
So you have to continue to look for that.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So as everyone rests,
Dante,
and then
sorry,
yeah.
Dante wanted to stay down to the last minute before he had to go crash. Just to keep an eye on the room and make sure nobody was sort of coming in to keep an eye on them, and just to draw in his little red book and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just till the last minute.
as you're one of the last ones still down, you do see Delilah, which you had, you had kind of put out of mind. She seems to be hanging out with a couple of Crown's Guard that have a table there.
Oh my god. Someone's gonna have to go look after her, I suppose. Dante will take a swig from his finish down his drink, walk over to the table, and just sort of give her a sort of mock annoyed look, like clearly enjoying the situation, and just sort of give her a look. Now, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be down here. You're supposed to be in your room.
Hello, Dante, right? No, I was just come down for a nightcap, and these guys I met. These are new friends of mine here. They're local Crown's Guard. Actually, they're going to Roteberg first thing tomorrow morning. So you guys look busy. I don't want to interfere with anything. You guys seem to have you guys have a lot going on.
We are extremely busy, and he'll sort of turn to the other the two Crown's Guard. We took a contract with her husband. See, she's pregnant, and we have to take her back to her home. You understand, family business. And he sort of rolls his eyes as if like, oh god.
It's really okay. I can go with them. It's not a big deal. They're going there already.
We have a cleric upstairs who needs to look after her. So you gentlemen, don't you worry yourselves. Delilah, you should return to your room. You don't want to stress the baby. And he has a little chuckle to himself.
She stands up. She leans over to Dante. How did you know about that?
His face does not break character, and he just sort of looks at her, raises an eyebrow like knowingly, and then he turns to the guard and said, "Good night, gentlemen." And he'll sort of, as treating her as a lady, he'll hook her arm and take her upstairs.
Gentlemen, I'll be fine. I'll make my way to Roteberg with these guys. Thank you again. All right. Okay. Thank you, Dante.
Yep.
And we'll go with you.
Yep. He'll take her upstairs. And now that he knows this little bit of information, he's not going to do what he was contemplating doing. So,
Good.
He'll take it to her room and just sort of, now, we have a wizard. Now, please don't leave your room, or she will be notified that you're leaving. We'll take care of you. It'll be fine. Once you're in the care of your wherever it is we're taking you, you can do whatever you want. But my friends have been through a lot, and I'm not going to have you making them upset by running away and having them feel like they failed something else. Do you understand?
Fine.
If you run
Yes.
away, I'll make sure that everybody knows you're pregnant.
I won't. I will not run away.
Thank you.
I'll be here. We can leave in the morning. You're still leaving in the morning, correct?
Certainly.
Okay. I want to make sure I get there before things start.
He'll just make sure she goes inside. Good night, Delilah.
Good night. She turns and shuts the door.
And when she does, he lets out like a little whistle of, "Oh wow, that was highly unexpected," and chuckles again and goes back to his room.
All right. The night comes. Everyone is able to complete a long rest without any further, outside of the vision from Branimir, without any further interruptions. Everyone has a good night's rest and is able to wake up bright and early in the next morning. You guys come downstairs and are able to prepare. There's fruits. There's actually a fruit plate and a meat plate set up on a table that you guys have been taking advantage of since you've been there, and you guys are able to take part of that.
Delilah's there.
You're gonna check on her. You go to Delilah's room and knock, and she does respond. Yes, who is it?
It's your knight in shining armor.
I'll be down in just a minute.
Don't miss breakfast. He wanted to say you're eating for two, but he decided not to.
Yeah, after a few minutes, she comes down.
Alright, yeah, he'll just sort of chaperone her all of a sudden, like, making sure she doesn't do anything silly or try to leave.
Okay. So you're kind of following her around, taking her as your responsibility
Yeah,
for
why
the
not?
remainder of the trip?
Yeah,
Okay.
why not? That's how he's thinking at the moment. Why not? Everybody else is sulky. Dante will keep an eye on the little flighty person.
Just an inquiry, DM. The last time we had mention of the relics or the artifacts
Mhm.
that were present in Bren's dream or vision, rather.
Mhm.
They came in like a card format in the tomb, didn't they? Along with the Warhammer.
Okay.
They-
Yes. There was a picture that you found within the Warhammer. With the Warhammer, there was a letter from King Utran, from the King of Patrium, talking about finding the lie, with pictures of these two items. You also had this in a vision before that, where you had originally saw them again as the cards that were the cards in the with the Warhammer. But then you also saw this in a mural, a stained glass mural within a tribute center, a tribute hall.
I see. Do we still have these cards in our possession?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
And they would just be the handouts that are in the Discord.
right. Okay.
You just have to go back
great.
and find them.
Okay, great. So at least I have something visual to show people. So I guess the next day or the morning, Bran would awaken, and is Boltzmann still in the room? Is he still tinkering, or is he already downstairs?
He'd probably be downstairs by then.
Alright. So Bran would, don his typical outfit and would grab Addie, who is most likely grooming herself at the foot of the bed, and like a giant oversized teddy bear, and he would almost dash down the stairs, and he would approach Boltzmann, as Boltzmann was the only one Actually, yeah. Boltzmann is the only one in the party that is still in the party that would remember that would remember these cards. And
I put them on the handouts as well again.
Gotcha. Thank you. Bran would fish these cards that have not been retrieved for a very long time, actually. He would retrieve them. Yeah, he would retrieve them from his satchel and kind of produce them for Boltzmann to see, almost kind of shoving it in his face.
Bran.
I had another.
Boltzmann would be just like enjoying his coffee, and then you shove it in his face, and he almost spills the coffee over him. Oh, Bran, what's this?
Vision from the Uplifter. Same artifacts, same as before.
Boltzmann would put down his mug of coffee and take a look at these artifacts, these images of these artifacts, and I do recall that on the first time that we did see this, I don't think I knew what these things were. I mean, what these things were supposed to be. And looking at it now, would I have any more idea on what these things are supposed to be?
These things. Could roll a history check if you'd like.
All right, nice. Character sheet, please load. History check. That would be a. That's a 6.
It looks like a heart and a beetle.
Yeah. Boltzmann would scratch his head, look at it, and then he'd shake his head and tell Bran that I didn't exactly recognize these things the first time we saw these, but right now, even more so right now. What if... And then Boltzmann would look around at the table, and he would actually try to look for Emmy. She's there.
Mm-hmm.
And tell Bran, maybe Emmy would know something of this. Or at least, I don't know, some... And Boltzmann would shrug, I don't know, some sort of divination magic could probably help with this. And do you have any idea what these things are for, Bran? Or...
Well, could I also make a history check, DM?
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Alright.
It's gonna be a 20.
My history ain't so bad.
Oh, nice.
Never mind. Not more than Boltzmann.
I will say that you do remember... You do remember both, well, you do remember from your, the time at the Tribute Center, the Tribute Hall.
Yeah.
Where you did see this stained glass mural, and on the very front of the stained glass mural, the very center, the largest of all of the deities listed there, is the All-Father. And you see this personification of a armored warrior that has a faint similarity. You see a shield. You do see this heart-shaped shield. You also see a lion imprint on the shoulder of the armor. So it's tying together the idea of the symbol of the House of Ear as well as the heart shape.
So Bran would be able to kind of correlate this to
that there's some sort of connection. Yeah, there's some sort of connection that the picture in the stained glass window is very, very similar. It's very unique as not just a heart-shaped shield, but a Celtic shield with this kind of Celtic knot interworking metal in the center. So it's very specific, and that's exactly what you saw in the Tribute Center, connecting it to the All-Father.
Gotcha. All right, so Bran would kind of, I guess, explain this to Boltzmann, that there's a correlation between the Allfather and the King to specifically one of the artifacts, or if not both.
Mhm.
And he would kind of scratch the back of his head at the mention of Emmy being able to locate these artifacts or to help. Bran kind of mumbles, "Well, I was kind of thinking we'd be able to use the Tome of Joy."
At the mention of that, Boltzmann would like ponder about it for a few moments. Well, if somebody's going to use it, I think it should be you, since I think it's kind of at least clear what you want.
And the vision is fresh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then Boltzmann would just look around. Well, do you plan on using it now?
I sure as hell don't plan on using it in the afternoon.
And Boltzmann would immediately stand up and just gesture towards their room. And well, I don't think we should, use this here, shall we?
Yeah, Bran would follow Boltzmann.
Yeah, and with that, with Bran and Boltzmann now back in their room, Boltzmann would actually just lock the door, and after that, he would reach into his bag of holding and produce the Tome of Joy, and he would hand it over to Bran.
Let me look real quick.
I think this will be officially the first time that this thing will be used.
This is the oldest object in the game, other than the 2 potions that Bran stole from old Granny in the beginning of this session, and it is now finally being used.
Wow, it's been a year in real time. It's been a year since we picked up that book.
We never used it.
No. It wasn't a year. You got that.
Has it?
6/12.
Oh,
Almost a year. Almost
almost a year.
Almost.
Because you got it when you got back. You actually got that from Platinum America.
Yeah. My God, it's been some time. Anyways,
it does require an attunement, though.
Well,
Shoot. Okay.
So you can do it. It would just take you a little bit of time. You have to sit and think about it for about an hour.
Isn't there a limitation to how many objects you can be attuned to?
3
there
objects.
is 3 objects.
Gotcha.
You're already
okay.
attuned to the shield if you still have it. The Ring of Sending. Once again, if you still have it. I think you still have 1 free slot. If I recall correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Mhm.
So yes, okay. Bran would just meekly take the sizable tome, and he'll kind of give Boltzmann a quizzical brow. So, what happens now? I just open it?
Well, first off, you have to attune to it. Next, I actually don't know what happens next. Well, there's only one way to find out, really. In that
The
case,
way that Eric had explained it was that you simply clear your mind in a meditative state and then open the book. And the next blank page would be filled with information.
Okay.
where would Bran be like doing all of this attunement and all that?
You can do that in the room. He just has to kind of sit and focus on the book.
Yeah, like
You guys
Bran-
can sit there for about an hour.
Yeah,
Bran could just rest on the bed.
Yeah, what Boltzmann would do is that while Bran is like sitting there on the bed, he would take a seat, like pull out his journal and stare at Bran and take notes at what's happening. Because this is undocumented information or whatever. What's gonna happen here has been undocumented so far. Then he's really interested in what's gonna happen next.
Feel like I'm a part of that menagerie.
As you're kind of you're kind of looking over the book itself, and you do read the inscription. The message that reads on the first page, it says, "I am now at what I should be at the end of my days. And when looking back, I see the slight glimpses of pleasure, so much clearer than the ever-present pain. Let this book guide your steps. It will bring you joy, so that when you look back, unlike me, you can do so fondly." Signed, Onyx Ravenborn, a lost soul. So as you kind of sit there, slowly kind of reading over that passage, just having the book kind of in your hand, thinking about it, it takes some time, but eventually you kind of feel connected in the same way that you feel with your shield, the same way that you feel with your ring when you're attuned. You have this connection, you feel its presence. And you are now attuned.
Ooh. Okay, so don't think of anything else. How many pages do we have to spare for the Tome of
hot dog right now? No.
Man, I kind of wish I grabbed some coffee.
Bran, focus.
Don't think about Jay Gahuva. If you think about Jay Gahuva, he'll appear and destroy us. Empty your heads.
What how many pages?
There's
got 10
pages.
uses. Yeah.
Okay, 10 uses. Okay, so I guess focusing, feeling that he has attuned properly to the book, he'll kind of make a gesture, a silent gesture towards Boltzmann that he feels he's ready to, I guess, consult the Tome of Joy as to the location of the relics, and he'll focus on the book. He'll gaze upon the blank pages and try to think as much as possible. Actually, he'll place the two cards that have the pictures or the images of the relics right next to him, so that he can, while he's looking at the book, he's also seeing the cards as well. So he's really trying to focus on the relics themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
he'll just wait to see what happens.
Okay. So you take the book, and like at the bottom corners, you have the cards there with you that you're focusing on, and you almost go into a meditative state, just like you would when you were praying or something of the sort, and you would just take a moment. You feel that energy. You feel it kind of grow, and grow, and then wane. And that's it.
Is there anything seen on the pages?
You slowly open to the first page, and you see this in campaign handouts.
Ooh.
This is Castle Soderham.
Bran has seen this before, hasn't he?
Yes, from a distance, but you've been to past the front gate, and you've been around the center kind of focal point of Soderham that is this castle.
I
So
see.
yes, you've seen this.
On the way to rescue Wolfgar, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of Bran mumbles under his breath. Shit.
Well, Bran, anything?
Bran would take the book and hold it against his chest as he kind of faces it outwards to show the image to Boltzmann.
And I would assume that Boltzmann would
Yes.
Recognize this place as well.
Yep, definitely.
Castle Soderham. Ah. I think we have to fit.
Belly of the beast.
Boltzmann just thinking about the prospect of having to go there. You can see that he doesn't like the idea of it as well. That's something. Well, we've got an answer. What do we do with this information then?
I suppose all we can do is tell the others.
Well, I guess we should hurry up. I think we've already kept them waiting. Go then, Bran?
Yeah, and with that, I think the both of them will head downstairs to show their findings to the rest of the party, if they have gathered.
Mhm.
Is Camiel still with us?
Cam, did you came back?
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Yeah.
You are.
So eventually everyone makes it down, including Boltzmann and Branimir.
Sorry, cut off there for a minute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, everyone makes it back to the table. Everyone is there, including after a while, Boltzmann and Branimir.
Bran simply presents the book with the image, or the drawing rather.
Did you do that, Bran? It's very good.
Pretty.
So many talents.
Bran makes a face. It's the Tome of Joy.
Dante just gives you like a blank look.
Actually,
yeah.
I don't think Dante knows
He
about
does.
it. Yeah,
He does, but he's just sort of like, you know, like a child who didn't really pay much attention. Just sort of like,
Oh,
it's a drawing
completely
book?
understandable.
A drawing book?
And as Bran mentions the name, Boltzmann would actually look at Emmy if she has any reaction to that, to the mention of it.
To
She-
Castle Soderham or the Tomb of Joy?
The Tome of Joy. In general.
Her eyes are just wide and large at the staring at the image and waiting. She's waiting for a further explanation. But she doesn't necessarily have surprise on her face as if it's like novel to her. She's just she just kind of always has that painted look on her face of like, all right, what's next? What's next? What's next? You know. So she's just excited. She's just smiling at it and looking at everyone.
Bran would just pinch the bridge of his nose and kind of click his tongue as he tries his best to explain it very quickly in the layman's terms. It's a book, or rather an artifact, that if you think about something really hard, this book will paint a picture and sort of answer your questions. That Bran would kind of turn towards Boltzmann as if to as if to get that affirmation from Boltzmann.
Boltzmann just nods, and if anything, he would pick up on what Bran said. Well,
Not a mage.
Well, Bran used the book to look deeper into what these artifacts are, the Heart Shield and the Scarab. And apparently, the book pointed towards Castle Soderham.
It's a magic book. That's what you're saying.
Yes, it's a
Awesome.
magic
It's a
book.
magic book.
Wonderful. That explains everything. Thank you, Boltzmann.
Yes.
If you haven't seen one, then it may be a little bit of a surprise, or you may not fully understand exactly the types of magic and arcane energy that goes into creating such a thing, but it is mystical, isn't it? The fact that y'all have one, that's amazing.
Boltzmann would oh no. I don't know how to explain this, but anyways.
Dante's sort of like, did you make that, Boltzmann? That's wonderful. That's actually very good.
No,
Do you think you can make another one? I'd love one.
the details about that. No, it's not important, but the details about that. What's important is that the things that Bran has been seeing in his dreams, it's pointing towards Castle Soderham. I don't know why, and I don't know what the connection is, but I don't have a good feeling about this. Something. Gods. Boltzmann would just look back to Bran. If anything, it's just that Boltzmann doesn't exactly just know what to do with this information right now. And he just can't like put into words what he wants to do with this sort of thing.
These relics could bear some sort of significance to Notary. Or it could be the proof that we need.
So Dante's sort of just trying to piece this together. So you had a dream about these relics, these items. You asked the book.
Been having them for a while.
Okay. What about? Well, obviously we have to check that out. But what about the? Do you think it's going to lead into what Notary said? Was it Air? Was Air one of the ones that? Because Notary said two things, right, when he was taken away. Damn. Something about Air not acting the way, not acting correctly or something.
Yes, and he was specifically talking about when he confronted Ear about the oncoming doom. He was unresponsive to it. He was flat-faced. He was stone-faced, as if he knew. From what Notary could tell, he knew of. He had some information and knew it wasn't a surprise to him what the information was that he was saying, but he was not doing anything about it. And he was taking steps to be able to not have that information to people.
Okay. And obviously the Shadow Coin. So.
Yes.
All right. And where is Ear now? Like, would he be in Soderheim?
Yeah. King Ear is.
Sorry,
yeah.
the king. God, I thought we were talking about somebody else. All right.
Yeah, King Ear.
Sorry. Wonderful. Well, if nothing else, that's where we have to be. To
The lead.
It's something.
Given that the... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Boltzmann.
No, you go on ahead, because Boltzmann was about to point out another thing, but you go on ahead first.
Yeah. Well, given the... you did show the... Branimir did show us the picture, the images, or his little drawings of the scarab and the shield, correct?
The cards are next to the book.
Or the cards, okay. Yeah. So given the cards and that the Book of Joy is pointing them, that now they have the image of the Castle of Soderham, would Sirsha recognize these as potential, so to say, relics of Amma? Would she recognize them in any way from what she knows of growing up in Amma?
You can roll a history check.
Okay. Let's see. Third time's the charm, right, everybody?
Hells yeah, succeed, friend.
Try to
Succeed.
roll
That's
higher
where we
than
14! Getting higher.
It periodically.
increments of 4.
What you know about the heart, and now that everyone is discussing openly about all these things, is it kind of reminds you, looking back, you kind of pull out the map that you had of northern Amma, and in the bottom right-hand corner is the symbol of Ear, which is a heart shape with the lion on top of it, looking like a key of sorts. And this being a symbol of Ear since as long as you can remember. A symbol of the House of Ear has always been that heart and lion.
Yeah, she would, after looking at the map, she would lay it down right next to the book and those 2 cards and point at the heart on the map. There's a clear... It's connected to the king somehow. I don't know what the scarab is. It could be some other... is the scarab, and she would look to both Bran and Camiel. Is the scarab a symbol for anything or anyone in Ujat or Patrium? And at Patrium, she would also look to Dante.
Dante shrugs.
Say again.
Dante shrugs. He literally just like as soon as Saoirse is just like, oh, and Dante sort of looks over, he just sort of shrugs with a smile. It's like, I don't know.
If it's potentially... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
If it's potentially connected to Amma's history, would I be able to ask the professor about it? About either of these symbols?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the professor, you can ask him anything. It's just he has certain things that he has good knowledge of and would have a complete, not a complete, but he would have a very good understanding of certain things over other things.
I'm wondering if this might fall into one of those categories that's listed here. Just being a history specifically to Amma.
Before you do anything with that, Boltzmann, I will also tell you that now that you're thinking about all of this, you do remember the letter that went along with these cards. This was a letter from King Xavier Ortran, the King of Patrium. The one he talks about the Vindex relic, which was the hammer itself. But it also, there's a paragraph there that says, please take these images with you. Learning about these objects will begin you on your path of truth. When the lies spread, the darkness spreads. Soon it will be forever dark unless the truth can once again prevail.
Truth once again prevail. Boltzmann would continuously just think about it. As usual, he doesn't know how to put all of his thoughts into actual words.
Mm-hmm.
He would if anything, he would just mention the letter to Bran as well. Something about something about the truth. Since I know, why is English so hard for me right now? I'm sorry. Something about darkness all around, and if we find the truth will prevail. Maybe maybe this quote-unquote darkness is what caused, is what's making Ear quiet about all of this? Maybe if we just... I don't know.
You mean the Shadow Queen?
Yes. This is just all so much. I don't know where to begin with all of this.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but Boltzmann and I have a bit of a... kind of pauses and kind of looks at his boots. Criminal history. And Soderham. Boltzmann more so. Not so much myself, but just a tiny crime. Little tiny bit.
You broke the law. You.
Unbeknownst to myself.
Oh.
This
What
is-
did you do?
What did he do?
Public
Is this another
exposure?
story? Oh my. And he's like grinning.
Bran kind of looks to the I guess a flask that's attached to his hip, and now that the rest of the party has been looking at it, I think well, at least particularly the older members of the group can kind of recall that Bran has never been seen without this flask attached to his hip. Yeah. It's just little petty thievery, but I mean, we don't have to talk about that. Anyways,
We should talk about
You
it.
probably should.
I'm
yeah.
interested.
It
If
kind of
it's
sounds
petty, I'm sure it ain't gonna be no problem for y'all. They
Kinda
don't.
sounds
It's
fun.
it's Sutterheim. They're not gonna notice little petty things. Everyone's had a little 5-finger discount once in a while.
Were you
That's
caught
discount.
in the act?
My lord.
no. If anything, I was an accessory.
Accessory?
I was goaded on by an old couple who had a rivalry between one another, and they told me to steal a potion from the other. And
So basically what you're trying to tell us is you got bullied by a couple of old people.
I think I'm
perhaps
disappointed,
that
Bran.
could be what I'm saying.
I actually think I'm disappointed, and not because you stole something.
I couldn't say no to Grandma.
Put that on a t-shirt.
I'm assuming.
Family is important.
I'm assuming because this is when Dante was asked to go to the library in Soderham,
Yes, it was.
Soderheim, right?
No, it was a different time.
No, this
Eh.
was like session 0.
It's a long
no,
time
sorry,
ago.
but that's why he was asked to go to the library because the both of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Correct.
that's how I meant to say that. Did you tell Dante? You didn't tell him then why. You just said that you.
No, I don't
Wonderful.
believe Bran did. He was
No tree.
just
No
as
tree.
ashamed.
No tree had said that because of his prior indiscretions that he was red flagged.
I'm so glad
That he knew that Branimir was red flagged.
I kind of wish you never told me. When you, Bran, when you told me you were in trouble with the law, you know, it came with a healthy dose of respect from me. But now I'm not sure how to. I'm not sure how I'm going to piece this one together. You're lucky you're a good cook, Bran.
I mean,
Well-
if you've never seen the power of a grandma before, they got some arcane magic that even I don't understand.
Wait. She slowly, Camille slowly looks at Dante. I am very confused.
What?
You're... Oh,
He's just looking at you like, yes.
Spit it out,
You're-
Boltzmann.
God damn it, Boltzmann, this is all your fault.
Hey, this is the player, not Boltzmann. All right.
I was
You're-
coming hard.
What's the word I'm looking for here? Jesus Christ.
Sure.
Not that one.
Yeah, no, not that one. There is no Jesus in this realm.
How dare you? Jesus is everywhere.
So you're basically looking down upon Branimir because of what he did
No,
with him, with the old people.
the fact that they let him that he was bullied by a couple of people to do.
This coming from a murderer.
Yes.
I know
That's
you
when
don't
you
really
draw the
have
line.
much.
No. If he had
You don't really have much experience with family, Dante. But
If he, that
Grandma-
that really hurt, Bran. That really hurt in more ways
Well-
than one. But
well,
all I'm saying is that when I thought he did it, made his own decision to steal something, yeah, I had a bit of healthy respect for him. As Emmy said, everybody has the 5-finger discount. Thank you,
I don't
Emmy. I
even
really
know what that
appreciate.
is.
I really appreciate that, by the way. And
Oh yeah, of course.
but when you said Grammy told you to do it, I don't know. I think I'd have to meet this Grammy. Maybe the respect I had for you should go towards Grammy for manipulating you the way she did.
well,
Okay,
I wasn't
two
exactly fishing for respect, but
Two things here. Two things. What in the folk is a 5-finger discount? And two,
You didn't see that in your book?
there's no 5-finger discount. There are different fingers, yes, but 5-finger. What is that?
Well, it does have two different meanings between her book and reality.
I believe a 5-finger thing is called fisting. But it's not
Bran
finger.
is
now
starts
laughing.
pointing at the book. He starts tapping at the book. Let's get back on track here.
But people
wasn't
need to
gonna say
explain
anything.
things to me.
We can
Camiel,
talk more about that on the road. All right.
It's a 5-finger discount. So evil? What did you do, Bran?
Emmy will pull Camiel over, or she'll lean over to her and just whisper in her ear what it means. Just a quick little whisper, just
What does it mean?
5 fingers, meaning you get the discount of just being able to take it off the shelf with your 5 fingers and walk out the door.
Basically, just thievery. Why is everyone making such a big fuss out of it? Jesus Christ. He was left hit.
You might be the only one, my friend.
You know,
we all knew what it meant.
If you all just start acting so weird, I'm going to start getting the wrong ideas. So can we stop doing that?
Hey, leave it to the Amun government to be so nutted up over a potion.
They do have, I mean,
just using thaumaturgy.
do like their potions. Like all their stuff.
So, if you were, if you wanted to be able to like have a kind of a session with Professor, it would kind of put you in sort of like a kind of meditative stance for a minute or so. So I don't know if you want to do that at the table. You could if you wanted to, or if you wanted to excuse yourself. It's up to you.
Yeah, she's she is going to. Well, first things first. So she says that she might be able to get. She might know someone who might know a little more about those symbols. And then she asks. Before that, just a quick question. Between everything that's been going on, and now this picture, is the plan still going to Roteberg, or are we going elsewhere now?
We still have
Well,
to.
we could still go to Roteberg.
Dante's pointing towards Delilah while he's like motioning to Delilah to make sure she finishes her porridge that he got her. We have to take this young lady back home, don't we?
That's true. I did.
You sure
Promise.
are sweet on that girl.
Make sure you eat up.
Why?
Sorry,
You're hawking over her maybe a little too much.
not at
Dante,
all.
you didn't do
sweet on
anything,
her.
did you?
She has to make sure she eats.
Dante, what did you do?
Nothing.
What did he do?
It's not mine.
Rand's eyes widen.
It's not your
You did
I
it.
did nothing.
Huh?
I
You
did
did
nothing.
not.
I did nothing.
A man of your
Delilah's eyes
experience.
open wide, and she stands up and runs upstairs into the room.
Damn it.
Dante! Look what you did! You made it. Oh no! What? Excuse me, and Camille gets
No,
up
no, no, no,
and
no, I love that.
she smacks the rim of Dante's hat.
He has an
Naughty!
honest look of surprise on his face. I never touched her. And he just sort of puts his hand.
That always the excuse.
He puts his hand up and he goes, I claim. And he just is about to say something. He turns to the I am always honest with what I do. Almost always, Bran.
Camille raises a brow.
This
And
is true.
he leans into his hand, sort of like, whispering behind his hand. He's like, she's pregnant. As if it was big news. He doesn't even know if anybody else knows. He just he worked it out last night by accident. So he's just like, she's pregnant.
She's what?
She's pregnant.
No. Dante!
We only just met. It doesn't you need another book. It doesn't happen that
that's
fast.
right. No.
You're a grown
They don't
woman.
go
You
into full
should.
detail.
Anyway, I happened to find out last night. I don't know the whole story. I don't really care. But she's pregnant, and she was trying to wander off with a couple of Crown's Guard last night, just after everybody else went to bed. So I made sure she stayed.
Why, Sister Ava, this girl, I swear to the gods.
It explains why she wants to leave her folks.
That's true. It makes so much sense now. But I still need to check on her because she's upset.
Probably.
And
She
she-
didn't want anybody to know. That was an accident. It's hard when Kebiel yells at you.
I didn't mean to yell at you. I'm so sorry, you wee baby.
You just do it.
Sounds
It's
like-
not like you don't mean to. It just happens.
It's almost
He
like if
was
a granny
calling
were
us
to yell at
children
you.
we were at.
I know. Kebiel's just so loud.
Fine, I'm going to start whispering just for your comfort. Yo, shit.
I thought that was a different word until you finished it.
I am not sitting here with a smile on my face. Dante is though.
Yes.
I'll have you know, I made sure to take care of her last night. I made that whole thing up about pregnancy, but she revealed to me that she was pregnant. I did not even intend for that to happen.
She
I had
confessed to you.
I
by
had some other
accident.
things. I had some other things on my mind, but when she said that, of course I couldn't go through with it. So I just made sure she didn't go running off with any strangers.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
While they're going back and forth with this whole situation with Delilah, Emmy will step back a little bit and get Professor Vormund from her bag, figuring she's got time while they're having this in-depth discussion about this girl's pregnancy and who in fact the father might be. And she'll just kind of scoot back a little bit. She wasn't like in the center or anything, so she'll scoot back a little bit and she'll sit with the professor, keeping it relatively nonchalant. But yeah, it goes into that like kind of meditative state. But it seems otherwise like in place, in that it's just kind of a relaxed morning and everyone seems to be in higher spirits. So she's just running with that. And she'll ask him
So
about the symbols.
for a moment, you are holding the orb, and everyone sees you at the table, kind of at this long, at the table with everyone else. You kind of take the orb, this little kind of bluish, glowing, dark bluish, purpley kind of ball, this orb. You kind of cup it in both hands, and then take a deep breath and close your eyes. And for a moment, it's just you in the bar, and this now glowing orb, very slightly glowing, kind of surrounded by an abstract colors. Everyone at the bar, everyone inside the bar just sees you sitting at the table holding this kind of slowly pulsing orb. But for you, you see this abstract of colors kind of coming from the orb and kind of surrounding you and swirling You see the face that you've drawn on it begins to glow brighter and brighter, and in an instant, you are no longer where you were. You are in this new space, a space familiar to you. A warm wooden study, a small library filled with tables, bookshelves stacked with books and parchment of all sizes and shapes. You find yourself seated in an oversized plush chair, yellow fabric with little orange and red patterns on it. There's an identical chair next to yours with an older man, white, wild hair, very similar. You can kind of see where the face kind of resembles what the drawing was on the thing, kind of, but not really. A dark mustache, a tweed suit, takes a puff on a short but stout pipe without lifting his fingers from the page of the large book that's on his lap. Oh! Hello, Zerimi.
Hello, Professor. How are you?
I must say, your arcane format there was the stupendous. Academically speaking, of course, it's hard not to be a proud professor. And when we first met, you struggled with even the light spells. Always too bright. At one time, I couldn't stop it from blinking. I had a headache for weeks.
I remember that. I'm sorry about that. But I did get much, much better.
Much long ago, many years. He kind of finally looks up from the book, and he kind of pauses for a moment and notices that your energy is not all matching his. You're excited, but taking a moment and thinking about what he just said. With the flick of a wrist, his pipe kind of poofs into smoke, and he takes a moment. It's not the first time you've had to use your spells to take a life, but you were patient. You waited until there was no other option, and you chose to help those you felt needed help. You did a fine job. No furries. They live to live another day. Sometimes that's all we can do.
Right. I was just making sure. I was trying not to hurt anybody. I didn't want any kind of bad reputation if I was going to get accepted into Osgith. I really hope that doesn't affect anything.
I'm sure it'll be fine. There's no problems. I saw you talking to that artificer. Amazing work he's done. Brilliant mind. A bit socially weird, but
he just needs to come out of his shell a little, I'm sure. But traveling a little more with this crew, he'll just be a social butterfly like me, like Dante.
I hope so. If anyone can do it, it is you. Is there any things I can help you with?
Yes, Professor Vormund. I had a question for you. So we got a couple of little artifacts that we're looking at. One is, I'm sure you saw that scarab and that lovely heart.
Yes.
I know that heart looks real familiar. Reminds me a lot of the symbol of ear. But I don't know if you maybe knew anything a little bit more, and if you knew anything about that scarab.
Well, I saw it. I was looking, of course.
Always.
The House of Ear has been ruling one form or another for 1400 years. Gillibrand Ear, leader of the newly formed Amalia Kingdom, which is today's, Northern Armor, took power in about 730 BK. He raised a red flag with a white lion over the small port city of Soderham, declaring it the Amalia capital, with a set vision for Soderham as the grandest city in the world. This was, again, quite a long time ago, but it is the beginning of where Ahmed was. The heart symbol was first seen the first Tribus Day celebration. That's the only time that we saw was changed, and from then on was always used as the heart and the lion. It's the year after the signing of the Tribus Accord. The black or silver heart with a black or white lion on a red field continued and is still used in many times today as the preferred symbol. I'm going to have you roll an intelligence check on Professor Wortsman. I should have do that earlier. I forgot.
okay. Let's see. So I know it adds a bonus, but I don't know if the roller is going to add the bonus.
Yes, I added the bonus. It should be as long as you're using his stat sheet. So you go to the item and then use that one intelligence check. That's the only check that I added on that one thing.
Go. Hey.
23. As far as the Celtic Shield specifically, there's very little information. The first appearance, the only appearance that we've seen, was soon after Tribus signing. Almost nothing was written on it except one scholar named Richter wrote King Vladik Ear's triumphant return from Hora after signing the Tribus Accord. His quote was, "A confidence was seen on him on his return like few others that I've ever seen before. The stunningly triumphant King Ear looking stately and battle-ready with clean black armor, powerful greatsword of the Allfather, and new and magnificent heart-shaped shield that seemed to almost move in the glistening sun. That's the only reference in all of Tribus history, at least, that I can find so far. As for the what is it?
So that was for the Celtic shield, the Celtic symbol?
That's for the heart-shaped Celtic shield.
Okay.
And then the other one is the beetle. What do I call it? The scarab.
The scarab.
The scarab. I do not think this is from here. It's not anywhere in Ama history. So I'm not sure what or how this is connected. But it is, as far as I can tell, it's not connected.
Oh, I see. Well, I hope to get 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. I'll keep on looking. Maybe I'll find something, but
it's not part of. If it is another shield, perhaps another emblem or sigil, it might be part of someone's ceremonial practices. Even if it's
it looks
country.
From the picture, it looks like an amulet of some sort, but it is not something that I've seen anywhere in the history books.
I see. Well, if you haven't seen it, maybe it's just a made-up drawing. Who even knows?
You never know. I wish you the best.
Thank you, Professor. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Emily.
Take care.
And
I'll see you soon.
And as you do that, you the swirling begins again, this time taking away and removing that library that you were in, the study, and you are returning back. The brightness fades, and you are again holding the orb, slightly glowing. The glowing fades as you open your eyes. It's been approximately about 1 minute for you to do that.
I give the orb a little kiss on the forehead, and I put it back in my pocket or in my bag. Interesting. Then I look back to see if they're still talking about this pregnant girl.
Not at all.
Probably still are.
No, we're just staring at. I'd be staring at M, wondering what the hell's going on. She started flashing.
The orb kind of glowed a little bit, and it kind of glowed. But other than that, she was breathing normally, looking normally. She had her eyes closed and kind of focusing. But other than that, didn't look too much different.
Dante's still staring. I don't know about Camille. She's still yelling at him.
She is still yelling at him, but at a certain point she just stopped being an asshole and excused herself to check on Delilah, really.
Okay. You kind of go upstairs and find the door where Delilah was the previous evening. Closed. Do you try to open it?
She will knock.
Or
Camille
no?
will knock. Yeah. Hello
Whatever
there.
Whatever it is, I'll find my own way. Don't worry about it.
Oh, don't be like that. Can I come in?
Hearing that it is you, she does kind of open the door. You hear it click open.
Okay. Camille will open the door and peek in and give a bright smile and enter and slowly close the door behind her. Well,
You see her on the bed, kind of return back to the bed, putting her hands in her face, kind of just holding her face on, as she kind of leans over on, sitting up in the bed.
oh, very interesting morning, is it? Not so very interesting for you? I'm so sorry.
I just don't know how he knew.
Well, Camille stands there for a bit. He's a bit of a magician himself. He does some very interesting card tricks. So, either that or he just knows pregnant women. I don't know if this is helping. It's probably not. I'm so sorry. Dante's Dante. He means well. He's a very sweet man with a big mouth.
Nobody knows. Not my family. Not Beauregard.
The father of your child?
Yes, my betrothed. Well, technically not technically betrothed yet.
Camille sighs and she doesn't want to look disappointed, so she's trying her best not to, and she just sighs and slowly makes her way to the bed and sits herself down right next to Delilah. This must be very difficult for you, not knowing what will happen if anyone knew that you were carrying a child.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want to make it right. I just need to go and tell him. Figure out from there. That's why I need to get to Roteberg.
Well, just so you know, a child is a gift. It's a blessing. From Sister Ava herself. We all love children. And what you have with you is a gift, a blessing. I know that it's scary right now, but I don't want you to think that just running away from the people who know the truth is going to help. It's not. You're only going to be alone again. And you're going to put yourself and your child's life in danger. You don't want that now, do you?
No.
Oh, see?
Can you tell him just to be quiet about it, though? I've only talked to him for 5 minutes. He's mentioned it like 10 times already. I just need to get there. I just don't want anybody to find out.
I apologize for his honesty. Dante, as I said, is a sweet man, but he is blunt, as they say. I've learned quite a lot just watching him and the others, but he is so honest to a point where it hurts. But I apologize for that, and I know that you want to keep this hush. But I will let him know. I'm sure he didn't mean to let it slip. I promise you he didn't mean to.
If you can talk to him, I'll be down in a minute. I'll be fine. I'll come with you guys.
Of course. I'll pull him aside and I'll talk to him. I'm pretty sure I don't need to do this, but if it gives you some sort of comfort, I'll do it. I promised to deliver you properly and safely. And I do intend to keep on my word.
Thank you.
Of course. Now I'll leave you to your privacy, and I'll go talk to Dante and the rest.
She gives you a nod.
And she gets up and slowly walks to the door, opens, exits, and rejoins the rest. She looks at everyone and looks at Dante, and she kind of makes a bit of a gesture of her head to go to the side so that they can talk for a bit.
Dante will follow his captain's command.
Oh, Jesus Christ. God damn
I
it.
was just about to tell y'all what I learned. Oh, that's all right. She'll just go over to Boltzmann and explain to him what she what she saw.
We'll be there in a minute. This is super quick. Dante,
Yes?
you made an oopsie, as they say.
Did I really?
Yes. A woman doesn't like being outed like that. I know you didn't mean it, but she is just asking, and I'm sure I told her, I don't need to tell you this. But just to keep her whole pregnancy hush.
Yeah.
She's already scared as is.
Dante has a serious look on his face. He's like, Camille, I promise you that I will not say a single thing to another person.
Oh, so serious. Oh, of course. I trust you.
Now,
That's all.
I hope you make sure she eats those eggs and bacon that I got for her, because she's eating for two.
I didn't check. I'm still.
She's got to eat. Keep up her strength.
Yes. Of course.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Good chat. And he just sort of like pats her on the shoulder and walks away. Thanks, little
She
sister.
pats
I
him
promise.
right back. We're not related.
We are almost 100%
No, we're not.
related. Almost 100%.
And she joins the rest.
As Emmy would probably be moving over to Boltzmann. Boltzmann would be with Bran, and at that moment he would be discussing with Bran on what they had to do. I mean, their to-do list, at least. And Boltzmann would catch Emmy approaching, I guess. And
I hope I'm not. Is it still? You're still looking at the picture and such?
I'm just going over what the things that we have to do. You know, Roteberg, then the museum, then also Bran. You still remember those leftover jade from Sir Weiss? He mentioned a certain shop in Roteberg, some magic shop or something. We could probably exchange certain gear for, something like that. You know,
You did mention something about that.
yeah. So we could stop over at Roteberg for that as well. Take care of personal business, and after all of that, go to Castle Sodam. But anyways, Emmy, you're here for a reason, yes? You're going to about to tell me something.
Well, as I realize now, it's really. I was just seeing if I had any additional information, if I could help y'all out with those symbols. Unfortunately, I don't know much about that scarab, but there was some Well, Professor Vorman knew a little bit more about the history of Ama and that heart symbol. I don't know if it'll make much of a difference though. Just a little something I found out.
Professor.
Oh, Professor
I'm sorry?
Vorman, and here,
Oh,
y'all should meet. And I take that bluish purplish orb out of my bag, and you can see the drawn on, almost like in marker, but like the drawn on Professor glasses on it.
I believe Boltzmann has already been acquainted with Professor Vorman.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Professor
Boltzmann would just gesture towards Bran, Professor Vorman, and Professor Vorman, Branimir.
Bran
Boltzmann's
kind of
just looking
slowly
at Bran.
turns. Bran sort of kind of slowly turns to Boltzmann. He kind of he tries to keep a very he tries to stay as calm as possible, but now he's starting to look at Boltzmann, and I think you've been with Bran long enough to see like gestures in his eyes, like
Just think of Professor Vorman as a more sentient Barnabas. One that's a bit more helpful sometimes, I believe.
He's got loads of information.
so a machine.
Oh no.
No, absolutely not. It would be an insult to call him a machine. He's arcane magic right over there. A wonderful piece of arcane. Boltzmann catches himself almost gushing out with more, being a nerd. He just pauses himself. I mean, yes. No, he's more than a machine. What I mean.
So there's a person in there,
Yes. A professor.
and he likes it in there, being trapped in a crystal ball.
Oh, he ain't trapped. Oh, it's real cozy in there. I'd be happy to show you sometime. Might be a little tricky, but I can take at least one other person with me when I go visit him.
At the mention of that, Boltzmann's eyes brighten a bit. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, before we go off further into anything else, I do believe that we still have a job to do, and I think before the day gets any later or whatever, I think we should really make a move towards Roteberg.
I'm just glad we're still going to Roteberg.
As far as I'm concerned, that is our next stop, as we do have the young lady to attend to. But afterwards, it's still up to debate.
What we should do. I mean, Roteberg, Brad, we've been planning for this for months. Just to be there, to visit the museum, try to find out things about the other artifacts.
It's definitely a lead.
Gods, how long has it been, man? Just Boltzmann just realizing how many months it has been since they had that initial plan to go to Roteberg. When they were first,
Too long.
Yeah, it was when they were first, I don't know, gang pressed, I guess, by Erica. Good gods. But yeah.
So as you guys kind of wrap up, oh, sorry. Anything else?
No, yeah, exactly. Boltzmann would, after that, Boltzmann would just look for Dante and Camiel and Saoirse, even, and just try to see if they're all good to go. If they still have any business to take care of before they leave.
But Dante was going to
Saoirse's parents.
Shush. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Saoirse's parents left the day before.
Oh.
Yeah, they went off
left-
on their own.
Yeah, they went ahead.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
they
right.
went ahead.
Oh. Shoot.
Saoirse's dad told her that he could take care of getting her back. So as you guys kind of get your stuff ready, settle all your, figure out, gather all your things, gonna get ready to be on the move. I think that is where we're gonna take our first break.
Break time.
Break.
That's my cue.
It is around that time.
That's my
Yeah.
cue.
Mm-hmm.
So come back in about 10 minutes. We'll be here with you.
All right. Back soon.
Yeah.
Your tongue, say it again,
Tongue
Boltzmann. Your tongue had to be soft.
has to be soft, yes.
We're live, by the way.
Speaking that certain language. So yeah.
This is part of the conversation. This is part of the conversation that was happening in character.
Yeah, I had to go live while you said that, so.
Your tongue has to be soft while you're doing certain vocalizations for spells.
I wanted everybody to hear that.
The vocal components.
And record it so I could use it as a soundbite.
Hells yeah.
Your sub sound.
Yeah, your tongue must be soft. We've
Well,
got another sub! Yay!
Along with the, what was it? Stop! Something like that.
Stop!
Oh god.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys have wrapped up your kind of discussion, kind of clearly decided that you guys are going to be heading towards Roteberg. I would say after you guys had these conversations, it took you a little while with the Tomb of Joy to be able to align to it, to attune to it. So it's probably not too late in the morning, probably 10 or so, 9-10 o'clock. Dante, you said you wanted to go find something?
Yeah, so as everybody is gathering outside the inn, Dante would be, because he would have had a chat with the innkeeper and to find a place to go find a mule and a cart. As everybody's gathering, he wanders back with his mule, this cart. It's even got some some extra cloak in there and stuff, and some food. And he's as he walks up, he's like, "Everybody, I'd like you to meet my new friend. I call him Priest."
What?
Priest. I named him
Is this
after
the
my.
mule?
I named him after my favorite ass. He's a priest.
And he runs up and starts like petting it and giving it like the kissy face and all that.
Why are you cute?
How is the first thing that Boltzmann would be concerned of is how Addy would react to Priest. God.
Thank you.
No. Bran is already leaning over at Addie.
She can ride in the back of the car. It's okay.
Big snack.
Addie's a big girl.
Quick question. What's the ass for?
To draw the cart. I thought that was pretty obvious.
A cart?
Yes.
Camille just is a little confused, but she decides not to question it. She already, like in the back of her head, she knows, but she doesn't say anything.
Is this how y'all are traveling in style? Is what y'all adventurers do?
Usually we use our legs, but
Well, some of us may appreciate not using their legs all the time.
it's very sweet of
So
you.
thoughtful.
I've decided it's a wagon, by the way, because I can't decide what the size of a cart is, so we'll just go with a wagon.
Okay.
Wagons are good.
So yeah, the cart probably has 2 wheels, where the wagon probably has 4 wheels. So you can actually have like a base, and it's got a cover on it. Where a cart is kind of open air and just kind of like usually hay or something like that. Or
Oh yes, please.
I always imagined the cart would be more like Bring Out Your Dead.
Yeah.
Where the guy's got a cart. That's a cart.
Yeah, I just found a picture that makes me think of that. So yeah.
And Oregon Trail is the wagon.
So the wagon has to have a cover now that you pointed that out, so that somebody, anybody really, but could just keep out of the shade, so they're not, over overexerting themselves on the march back to Roteberg.
Yeah, I'd say you could get the donkey. I would say it would take 2 donkeys to be able to,
We've got
take
2.
the wagon.
We've got
So
2.
you got 2 donkeys. You got the wagon. You got food and blankets and all that kind of stuff. I'll say a total of like
I call them priest
50 gold.
Priest and clockwork.
55 gold for everything all together. You now have a wagon being pulled by a trusted team of donkeys.
Wonderful.
They're so cute. I love them.
This is priest. This is clockwork.
Beast and clockwork. Oh,
Yeah.
they're fantastic.
You know, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I don't mind walking. I've done plenty of that in my time. But sometimes we have things like, for instance, that mine we were in, and we couldn't carry all the stones out of the mine, and we didn't have any way to a means of carrying them or transporting them. You know, I think it works. It's probably something we've needed for a while, and I figure Delilah might appreciate sitting down on the trip, you know, looking after the wagon for us while we're all walking.
That's very thoughtful of you. I think she'd enjoy it, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
You do see her come out and see the wagon.
Delilah!
Yes.
Look, a peace offering from Dante himself.
Oh, this was not yours?
it is now.
No. Well,
Did you just buy this now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She takes a second. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Camille is beaming. She's so proud.
Dante will help her into the cart as well, or the wagon. Do you know how to drive one of these things?
No.
Oh, that's okay, I do, but I kind of like walking. Anyone else want to drive?
I could just...
Camille?
No, I could just talk to the donkeys themselves.
I mean, I suppose you could.
DM, can I?
Yeah. Certainly try.
Just giving the donkeys directions, really. That's all.
What are you
Wonder what
telling them to do?
To head to Roteberg.
How about to follow
I'm not
us?
gonna go into and follow the group, basically.
They might just keep going.
Okay. You see Camille kind of lean over to one of the donkeys, kind of scritch it on its top of its head, and kind of lift up in the air and be able to kind of mumble some things and roll an animal handling check.
Oh, handling? Ah,
Yo.
jeez.
It's an animal.
But I
I was waiting for whoever knows animals should probably do that animal handling check to ride the.
I know vehicles.
Animals.
I believe
It
I like
understood
animals.
you.
I believe this counts as a land vehicle.
No.
Speak with
Wisdom is not.
animals.
Wisdom might be one of my
Speak
jump
with
stats,
animal,
so I
right?
can know.
Ew.
You're casting speak with animals, all right?
It is.
Or is it
I believe it is a
tree?
natural.
It's a natural
It's a
thing.
trait.
Yeah, it's a natural
from the,
trait,
Yeah,
yes.
from the old of the ancients.
Yeah.
Let me double check real quick. Oops.
Speak with animals. Yeah, speak with animals is the. So
Okay.
speaking to animals, and having the animals actually give a crap about what you're telling them are two different things.
I see. Okay.
That's legit.
Ability
That's
to
the
comprehend
end
and verbally communicate with the beast for the duration. Yeah, so for 10 minutes you're able to listen and hear what they're saying. So as you kind of tell them, just stick with the group. Roll your animal.
I already did, and it is a terrible 5.
It is a 5.
Their ass, so makes sense.
Okay. They don't say, they don't respond. What he kind of does, kind of look you over, and then kind of look over the other one.
All right.
Well, they're well, they're us basically. They don't seem to be listening to me. Donkeys are hard.
That's okay. And Dante will jump into the wagon, take up the driver's seat, and just wait for everybody. Dante's proficient with vehicles and land. Anyone with a soldier trait is.
Okay.
So, and I'm assuming that's dexterity based. I mean, I read that it was kind of up to your discretion there.
Yeah, make a dex check.
Okay, as in a dex skill check.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna roll acrobatics because I haven't fixed up a land vehicle skill check yet. Did that work?
Hold on. Sorry.
It's an 11.
Yeah, you're able to get them moving in a somewhat right direction.
Wonderful. Yeah, little donkeys.
So the cart's probably big enough for probably one person up top, and then probably 2 in the back. If it doesn't have bigger horses, so about 3 people altogether can be riding in some form, and the rest can be walking.
It's completely up to everybody else. Dante's happy. Dante was.
He doesn't mind walking.
Yeah,
I'd probably say after a big old breakfast to get them going, she's excited to be moving anyway, so she'd be walking and probably talking with Boltzmann about more spells and such, and about Professor Vormund and.
Yeah, Boltzmann would even share a bit of some sort of specifications about Barnabas and all that. Just
someone finally understands.
Yes, finally. You can see that Boltzmann is just as they're talking. Boltzmann is somewhat animated as he's talking. His hands move around. He just shows off some bits of a few pages from his journals and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and it's a very nice change kind of in everybody from how they all were yesterday, that she's just noting that everyone seems to feel a lot better. So she's going to attribute that, 1, to a good night's sleep, and 2, to her musical performance the night before.
She definitely should.
Sirisha would hold back, just kind of keeping an eye on the road where they came from, seeing as Dante's seems like he's gonna kind of lead the way with the cart. But before she goes back, because the last time that she was able to get a new spell, she happened to speak with animals. So seeing the trouble that Cameo had and how ornery the donkey seemed to be starting off, she would cast Speak with Animals herself and then say to Dante, just let me know if they give you any trouble. I'm not one of those hippie druids. I'll turn them into glue if I need to. And then she would just kind of...
Cameo gives her a look of fright, like horror. Glue?
And she would just look at the donkeys with a knowing look. Kind of tapper dagger. I actually have proficiency in that. No, not investigation. Intimidation. 14.
Dante, easy as he's saying that, you kind of feel the donkeys kind of move a little bit faster in their step.
I'm not one of those hippie druids. I don't care.
Thank you, Saoirse.
We're gonna have a nice dinner tonight.
So as you guys move south between Dolheim, finally leaving Dolheim, you make your way south. The weather holds up pretty well. I don't need a survival check because this is a very clear road. It is a well-marked road. This is one of the most traveled roads in all of Alma, all of Tribus. This is one of the main roads connecting Soderham to Roteberg. And especially the closer you get to Roteberg and the closer you get to Soderham, the more traffic there is, the more people there is, and everything like that. So there's a well-worn, well-traveled road that you guys are on. The weather holds up this first day. The weather is good. It's nice and sunny out. No problem there. You travel for most of the day using your cart without too many problems from the stubborn mules and the cart. It's almost a full day travel between Dolheim and Midway. The land here is pretty flat. A lot of farmland on both sides. Some trees, a little bit of wooded areas here and there, but definitely more farmland than anything else. This is kind of like the agricultural center of Alma, and you can find a lot of different agricultural things, a lot of different farms, a lot of different produce being found here more than anywhere else. Kind of late in the day, you see that the road is definitely becoming more full with people. You see here, and just in the distance, you see a few tables being set up, or that are set up currently on the side of the roads. At least some of you, I would say probably Boltzmann and Saoirse would be familiar enough with the area that you would have a good idea that what Midway is. So this is a town that's kind of it's the halfway mark between Roteberg and Soderham, and it's known for the Midway Market. It's basically a free forming line of street vendors that are located on the streets, both coming in and out of the town. The town itself is very small, not even big enough to have a tavern. They have a tavern, but it's not very big. It's very small, and there's not a whole lot of space. It's usually not a whole lot of going on in the town. It's definitely more on the outskirts of town. You have a lot of people passing through all hours of the day. The town itself is not even bigger than Dolheim, but the markets are there, and that's a fairly large crowd. There's a lot of Crown Guard presence as you get closer to these tables that are coming up. You do see a few Crown Guard here and there. Fairly large. Once you get into the town proper, you see a large keep that is kind of disproportionately large compared to the size of the very small town. It's a dark stone castle. It has structures probably about 4 or 5 levels, complete with ramparts on top. It looks like a former castle that's been converted to this keep, and you can see the Crown's Guard kind of holding outside, using this as their main quarters. It's getting late, but you do not see them closing up shops. You see them still out there. You see people still coming and traveling the road, so it looks like they'll be there for a while still. Is there anything that you guys would like to look for while here on Midway?
Are we spending the night here in this area? Like, what? Sorry, what time of the day did you say?
It's getting late. It's getting towards evening. There is the keep. There is a small tavern. And then there is the line of basically a few houses around the city area, but mainly the main thing here is the market.
Hmm.
The long market that kind of reaches a very long distance both directions, in and outside of town.
Would we like to try for the inn?
Yeah, I think that would be the first order of business this town, since I do believe we're going to be spending the night here. Or Bran, yes?
I was gonna say that Saoirse could probably find the springs.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what she was gonna want to probably stop at the market, and but she would indicate, I'll meet all of you at the inn if you want to continue on.
Anything, Boltzmann would also want to make a few rounds over at the market. But then he wants to settle in first, at least.
So, were we going to the inn, or did we want to go somewhere else?
To the inn. Boltzmann would want to go to the inn first.
Okay. You get to this kind of small place, kind of a small little hole in the wall in a very small town. You go in and you see a human behind the bar, brown hair, very young. It's in a tending bar. The crowd, the tavern itself looks pretty full. A lot of people already there. But he does acknowledge you as you come in.
Something tells me we may have a hard time finding a room or two. But Dante's happy to go up to the innkeep and gauge whether they have any rooms available to rent.
You do talk to him. Wouldn't even have to roleplay it out, but you do talk to him, and he does tell you that there is no space available. Everything, all the rooms, he's got 5 rooms there, and they're all sold out. But he does let you know that there is a public, kind of a
Campground?
kind of like a public campground that's on the southern side of town. So if you go past the market a little ways, there's like basically a public campground where everyone kind of, all of the traders have spaces there and things like that. They don't stay in town proper, they stay outside.
Dante will look back at the others. Looks like we're camping for the night.
Oh, that sounds great.
Fine by me.
No problems here.
No, I'm just fine.
Alright. Well, Dante will get directions to the camp and jump back in the wagon and go back to go and find the camp.
Camp's on the outside of town on the southern side. You are able to go and you find a kind of a public area that's kind of like a long path with different sites where you can be able to post up, but there is a little bit of communal aspect to a couple of different things. They actually have a washroom. They actually have like an outhouse type of a situation, so it's not just all natural roughing it camping, but there is some facilities that are shared facilities. But then, like, you can see some of the places there are kind of more permanent structures, and you see some that are kind of like you guys were adventuring, where you have tents set up and different things like that. You find a place you're able to set up camp just as you normally would.
Speaking of that, Dante would like to pop into the market as well.
Okay. So you guys leave your things, set up your tent site. Are you taking the wagon and the donkeys, or are you leaving it?
Well, we don't really have tents, and that's for the reason he wants to go to the market, so he can go find some.
You guys have tents.
Do we?
You guys bought them.
Do. Yeah.
Oh, do we?
Didn't we go out camping?
You guys spend a lot of time in inns,
Yeah.
but for an adventurers game. But yeah,
Well,
you guys bought stuff before.
nothing but
Provisions.
best, right? I don't.
Some
rec-
hoity-toity adventurers.
Where are we keeping these? Are they all fitting in the?
Well, Boltzmann has his bag of holding.
That's what
That's
I
his
mean.
convenient excuse.
Oh, That's why I have the
That's
cart
just
now,
what-
guys. We can leave our tents in there. We can leave things that we don't really want to carry around or stick in the bag of holding, taking up space. It's for everybody.
But it's
Taking
a
up
bag
space
of
in
holding.
the bag of holding.
But it's not infinite. One day it's gonna pop.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that. Anyway.
Actually, I'm not gonna spell out some actual facts here, but no. Let's save it for a different
Yeah.
time.
I'm aware that that's probably being stretched. Wasn't there? Don't we have another bag?
There were sausages.
No, I thought we
like
had
that
a.
bag.
No,
Somebody had a. Oh
different-
no!
Yeah, it was somebody.
Wisteria had that.
Wisteria took
had
it
a,
while they left.
Yeah.
Tense, damn it.
I'm sorry, Wisteria had what?
There was a haversack.
There was, yeah,
Oh,
essentially a smaller bag of holding, but
Yeah.
she took it when she left the group. That gremlin.
How dare
Anyway.
she?
Lovely.
But yeah, Boltzmann would not leave any of his important stuff behind. Gods no, and he would actually also want to go to the market.
So we have tents. So if we have tents, Dante's happy to stay back at camp, and just sort of set up. I suppose he's happy enough to do that. Look after the, like set the donkeys up so they're not like in harness all night and all that kind of stuff, and prep the camp up. If everybody else is going to go off and wander off into,
Delilah will stay with you.
Oh dear.
it's all right.
anywhere
Is the
Delilah goes,
campground-
Camille's gonna go. So
Is the campground all basically? Is it all just like flat, like a clearing, or is it like amongst like are there trees and such?
There's a few trees that kind of separate kind of the spots. There's some bushes and things that kind of separate the different spots, and some of it is kind of open and flat. Most of it there's kind of like a hills that kind of not too big. It's very light hills, but yeah, there's a few ravines and things. But each spot has kind of been leveled out, and that's kind of what they're offering. Yes, it's like your local KOA.
Before heading out, because Emmy definitely wants to go, not even to buy anything. She loves to like people watch and talk to people who are coming through such a place like this. They'd probably have all kinds of information and stories. But before we go, she would ask if it was all right to set up their camp somewhere near to like not completely flat, like near like some of these bushes or something like that.
Mhm.
That's where
Yeah,
she'd like
you
to
can
set up her
find-
space.
If you're kind of looking for some sort of privacy, you can find a good spot with a nice big tree behind it and some foliage around to be able to give you some privacy.
That's what she would want.
Okay.
Then she'll go and peruse and chit chat with people who are coming in and out of market.
Okay. So who's staying behind? Boltzmann, or not Boltzmann?
Dante.
Dante, Delilah, and Camille. Okay. Everybody else is going shopping.
Correct.
Yep.
As you kind of head back towards the north of shops, it's starting to get a little bit dark. It's starting to get really near dusk here. But unlike any kind of small town that you would be in, they don't really close up shop. There's actually some torches that have been set up into the ground along both sides of the road and kind of line it. And you can see kind of almost like a night market kind of an atmosphere, kind of like you do hear some musicians playing here and there. There's probably about 2 sets on both sides, one in the north and one from the south. You can hear some music playing, and people kind of not too much of a rambunctious time, but a good time to be had for sure. Whoever is looking for something specific, let me know what it is, and then roll a perception check.
Ooh.
Yeah, Sircha would be looking for those springs she couldn't find.
Okay.
So, 15?
Okay. You do go to a couple. You do find a kind of a blacksmith. He doesn't have his whole blacksmith thing. He doesn't have his anvil and his fire and everything going at that. He is working kind of. You see him kind of looking and working on a small metal object and kind of trying to join pieces together and kind of working it with small tools. Yeah, he does have. He does have springs available. You can buy those. I think we said those were like 5 silver a piece.
Oh yeah.
Boltzmann, do you remember that?
Yeah, but as usual, Boltzmann would pay for them. Boltzmann paid for like 1 or 2 gold piece each.
Yeah.
Even though they were like just 5 silver or so.
You can buy those, so you can buy the springs from that guy. He thanks you. As you're looking around a little bit more, you do find something that you don't typically see, which would spark your interest, both Boltzmann and for Sircha. You see a man with black powder. You see a humanoid figure. Actually a tiefling, dark red on his face, and hands and arms, but a little bit darker as it kind of goes down, and you can see by the firelight, you can see that his horns are kind of like this dark red color, and he's standing over a table. There's a couple of barrels that have black powder, and there's a sign that says no smoking on top of one of them. But he also has components and pieces that are kind of already pre-manufactured on the table itself. You guys come up to him and, can I help you with something?
I do recall, though, that we already have some black powder with us.
Yes, you do. He does have some components, and what you do see... you see already completed on the table itself, you see some completed arrows with some sort of attachments, and you also see some devices that look like they could be thrown or in that kind of a realm.
And yeah, Boltzmann would gesture towards those in particular, and he would ask, what are these things supposed to be, if I may ask?
Do you like stuff that gets hot?
Boltzmann just he doesn't reply. He just looks at the tiefling, the usual Boltzmann fashion. He just doesn't talk.
Let's see here. I have some basic arrows. They don't do too much here, but this one right here, and he picks up one. This right here is what I've been working on for a long time. It's a very proprietary arrow. Flies just as smooth as a regular arrow. But have you, you look like you've been around. Is that true?
I've been here and there, if that's what you're asking.
Here and there. Yeah, that's what I thought. This arrow, have you been around many magic users?
Yes.
Yeah, man after my own heart. Okay. Are you familiar with something called a fireball?
Boltzmann's eyes widen. He smiles. Are you saying that what's inside that arrowhead can do something like a fireball?
Very similar effect, yes. Lots of fire, lots of people screaming. When you gotta clear the room, this is the one you want.
Amazing.
How much?
500 gold pieces.
Hmm.
And it is specifically, you take a look at it, and just by going over it, Boltzmann, you see that it is, from your calculations, if correct, it would be almost identical as the fireball spell, but in an arrow form.
Yeah.
20-foot radius of wherever the arrow lands, 8d6 fire damage.
Mm-hmm. You know, Boltzmann would be more interested in buying it than reverse engineering it, rather than having use it immediately. But Boltzmann would weigh in on that. Looks towards Sirsha. It's like you can see that he wants to buy it right then and there, but then having spent enough time with the others, he knows that it would be prudent to bargain first. Boltzmann would just ask Sirsha, you got anything?
Does it seem to Sirsha like it's worth 500 gold? Or
what
is
do you
he
mean?
highballing us? Basically, is he highballing?
Oh, insight check. You can roll an insight check if you want to see if he's trying to rip you off, yeah.
Can Boltzmann help in the
I'll take a
appraisal?
20 on that. Dirty 20.
From what you had seen, there is no comparison to this. This is like a one of a kind, something that he's kind of brewed up himself,
Yeah.
homebrewed, if you will. But yeah, it seems unique, so therefore the price doesn't seem too outrageous. If you were to look at it compared to even a fireball scroll, would probably be even more than that.
No. Tell me about how 500 does seem a lot. What sort of wiggle room would you say you have on that price?
I'm not one to wiggle too much.
Of course, this is very fine
Okay.
work from what I can see.
Give me an offer.
How does 450 sound?
Make a persuasion check.
Shit. I got a nick. Okay,
do
let's
it.
see.
You do it.
Nope.
That looks like a 3
No.
to me.
I put a lot of
Yeah.
time and effort into this. And as far as I know, this is one of the only ones in all of Tribus. So, I hate to do it to you, but yeah, I'll go a little bit lower. 475, that's my final.
I think we can make that work then.
Deal.
And
Sounds good.
she would reach her hand out to shake on the 475. And she will.
Boltzmann would take out around 275 gold.
And Sirsha would pull out some platinum, actually, because she's got, I think, some platinum that they had gotten.
Yep,
And,
as long as you guys mark off 500 gold equivalent.
yeah, or
Yeah.
475, you mean?
475, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Boltzmann's offering 275 gold.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And I'll count that off on my side too.
Also, yeah.
There we go.
If you do a search, I believe it's in the homebrew, so you should be able to pull in Fireball Arrow.
Okay.
on Beyond?
I think Saoirse, having seen Boltzmann really eyeballing it, eyeballing the fireball arrow, as they're walking away, she would maybe pass it over to him and say, "Do you think you can make some more of these?"
I don't think it's going to be the only one of its kind for too long.
Then here.
He's just looking at it. He's just feeling the weight of the arrow.
It's one of the most evil laughs that I've heard Boltzmann. Staring at this arrow.
It's exciting.
If you think if you can make more of these, I think we can find a use for them.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'll try not to I'll try not to blow us up. I'm trying to experiment on this. At least try to reverse engineer this.
That sounds like a healthy idea. Yes.
But then, in the meantime, Boltzmann's just making sure that it is safe inside his bag of holding, and he would still try to look around at the market if there's anything else magical, arcane related.
Yeah. Who else is with you guys, right?
Bran and
Emmy.
Yeah, Brand's there.
Well, Emmy's
Okay.
not at the actual shop front with them. She would have wandered.
Okay. Yeah, you guys peruse a little bit more. Somebody give me whoever's looking for magical stuff, roll me a perception.
Bran, you or me?
I'll do it for funsies.
Oh, wait.
Perception?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was dang near close to a 1.
Only one person, or everybody who's looking for a...
14 is good enough. You guys found it without too much trouble.
Okay.
You guys do find a magical item salesman who's kind of selling a bunch of different things. You do find some enchanted items, basic stuff. You find a staff of flowers. It's a wand that magically turns into a claw of flowers and then back again.
Oh, that sort of magic.
Disappointed by that, you do find another. Were you interested in that? Sorry.
It's pretty. She's looking at everything. You know, she's not just throwing her gold around.
You do find someone that seems to be a little bit more in tune with what you're looking for, and you do find a place that has a couple of scrolls. And you kind of go through some of these, and I'll say that you kind of go through some of the scrolls just to see what's available for you. And you find an enlarge reduce scroll and a life transference scroll.
Life transference? What does that do?
Life transference is like a
Oh.
This is necromancy. I think it is where you
It takes some damage to heal the other creature.
someone
Man,
else. Yeah.
It's hardcore.
you
That's metal.
sacrifice some of your health to mend another creature's injury. You take 4d necrotic damage and one creature of your choice that you can see within range regains a number of hit points equal to twice the damage you take.
Ow.
Pretty powerful.
And you can cast that at a higher level, and it's adding 1d8 per spell slot. It's a 3rd level spell.
I think she might see the she'd see the enlarge reduce scroll. She tends to be very practical in that way. She might be a little bit selfish, but also doesn't have a lot of health to spare. Yeah, she would. She'd glance over at the enlarge reduce scroll, and her eyes would enlarge. And she would ask about that one.
Yeah, and that one is 300 gold.
300.
Before that, DM, I would want to ask though. I do recall that I still have a scroll of enlarge reduce in my inventory.
Do you?
Yeah, the same one that we've had since that.
That was part of the truth.
All those practically a year. Yeah, practically a year ago.
Part of the loot that you didn't loot. Yep.
No,
So you tell Emmy that?
Yeah, I recall. Yeah, I recall us picking that up. Actually, that was even the flavor for my enlarge reduce spell, the actual spell that I have. But anyways, before Boltzmann would see Emmy eye that scroll, and he would ask Emmy, "So, are you going to buy it? Is it just going to be a one-off thing, or are you going to copy it in your spell book? Is that what you wizards do? Copy spells, the spell books?"
It is. Just gotta, it doesn't take too long. I actually have very, very nice handwriting, but I can still write it very quickly too. But yeah, I'd go ahead and make sure I had that down for good.
No, I have a scroll here, same spell and all that. I think I could just give it to you rather than have you spend 300 gold on, that.
Really?
Yeah, it's not much use anyway with me. I mean, I already have a formula that can achieve similar effects to enlarge, reduce, and all that. So I think this scroll here, and Boltzmann would reach into his bag, try to fish it out, and if it's still there, he pulls out this
old crumpled
piece of paper. I would assume that this thing is ancient since we found it in a temple and in the lower floors of an ancient temple, and along with a scroll of what was it? Private Sanctum. Yeah. I don't know what that guy was trying to pull out there, but yeah, enlarge, reduce, and Private Sanctum. That was it.
And Private Sanctum sounds nice too. I don't know if you showed that one off too.
Oh yeah, that. But anyways, Boltzmann would just pick that up and show it to you. This crumpled old piece of parchment.
Oh. And she's just she's awestruck. It's beautiful, and look at these. Look at that. That is such beautiful spelling. Oh my goodness, I can really copy this down. And I imagine they do this a little bit away from the vendor. You're not just showing off your stuff in front of a vendor. Oh my goodness. Alexander, you did not need to do that. That is so kind.
Oh, no. It's more useful in your hands.
Well, for as long as I am with a lot of y'all, I hope to get some good use out of it. What do you think about that other scroll they've got? They've also got a life transference scroll. Think I should nab that one?
Transference. That sounds like a dangerous spell. Honestly, I don't know.
High risk, high reward, and you never know when it might come in handy. Honestly, I'm trying to fill my book with just about anything I get my little hands on.
You're right, though. Yeah, sure. I think you'd better spend that gold on that spell, I guess.
Well, thanks to you. That's all I'd really need that they've got. You're so sweet. And she pats his cheek and then skips back over to the vendor. So how much would it be for the life transference scroll?
1,000 gold.
Oh my goodness! You sure got yourself something special here. Being one who caters to us wandering folks who may have more or less of what that, perhaps we could reason that out a little.
You're trying to negotiate the 1,000 gold?
Yes.
You can roll persuasion. Right. He would tell you the same thing and say, "Give me an offer."
Boltzmann would be with Emmy here, and I would like to help. If he could, he would help Emmy with the persuasion. Hearing this 1,000 gold, he would argue about, the risk reward of this spell is, a bit too much for that 1,000 gold, and then also it's not that much of a powerful spell, I think spells of that caliber should have a certain price range, somewhat lower at least. I mean,
you can roll persuasion at advantage.
Persuasion at advantage. How do I make it roll advantage?
Press shift. Is that D&D Beyond?
On D20, you'd have to ask.
Or just hit it twice.
On roll 20?
You can just hit it twice.
Do you have at the top there should be an advantage, normal, or disadvantage option? Roll 20?
Actually, I do actually have my portend I can also use before I roll, which makes it, from what I rolled for this long rest, I have an 18 plus the 18 plus my persuasion, which would be plus 3, so it'd be sitting at 21.
Okay.
Nice.
Let me look real quick. What?
I realized I didn't actually offer a price. See, Brenna isn't great with bargaining, but I'd be like, let's cut that bad boy in half.
Level 3, scroll. Let's see. Yeah, he could. The lowest he would go is 900, even with that.
900.
21. 900 would be the lowest he could go.
Oof.
Yeah, she looks. She tries not to look defeated. She's smiling, and she says, "Well, you sure have some fine wares here. I will have to."
Actually, let me stop for 1 second. Sorry. I misread I was looking at a 4th level. This is a 3rd level. So the cost would be, I'll give you the negotiated price of 250 for that. I misread
250?
that. I was up 1 on each.
50.
That is much more reasonable.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
exactly
3rd level.
Where is my gold and such? I could probably spare that for two spells in one day, 2 for the price of 1. That's pretty great.
Correct. And it would take some time, and it would take I'll have to look and see exactly how much it's going to cost, like as far as time wise to be able to transfer it into your spellbook, how long you'd have to spend to do that, and then how much material you would have to use to do that. So the cost of ink and paper.
It's just an hour and 5 gold per spell level. This would be like 3 hours and 15 gold. Oh no.
To transfer a scroll to a permanent spellbook?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Okay. I'll do some research on that too, so we can get that situated to make sure. But yeah,
she'll probably Yeah, that'll be something. That'll be a task for her to probably start once they get back. But she's still. Is this vendor busy?
Not too bad. And he does have fine paper if you wanted to get stuff from him.
I think I still have
Inks.
just as part of my starting stuff. I think I still have paper. I have parchment. Oh, I've got parchment. I've got ink. She was just gonna start chatting him up about where he came across all these things, and what else he's sold. So this doesn't need to be RP'd or anything. But she was gonna spend some time chatting him up.
Yeah, roll a persuasion to see if he talks.
Persuasion, you say?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, 19.
19. Damn. Yeah, he's hesitant at first, but he does say that he was a adventurer at one point, but and dealt with the magics, was trained in magical schools. He does not say where, but he does say that he was trained and spent time adventuring until he settled down, and he's here now.
You won't mention the schools I've asked?
He does not. You ask him if it's Osketh, and he says no.
Okay.
But
Here
no,
in
he does not
Amma?
mention.
Or was he from like another place?
From Amma. He
Okay.
was, but he doesn't say it.
Okay, cool.
Anything else anybody wants to look for? No. Going once.
Bran?
Going twice.
Nope.
Okay. So you guys can head back to the campsite. It's getting, it's pretty dark now. Nightfall's already set. You guys can set up get back, and I'm sure Dante has already done everything perfectly, catering to
He sure has.
Delilah and Cameo.
Yeah, but probably at this point, he's legitimately, if Cameo wants to join in, he has a legitimate card game going. So he has between the three of them, they're sitting there playing cards. If Cameo wants a part of that,
Of course she would.
just having a bit of fun, no card tricks, just cards, just relaxing. The fire nearby.
Very poorly playing, but she's learning.
That's okay. Dante's letting the others win. It's not betting, so he's just doing it so that the other two win all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he's really doing.
Okay. Anyone want anything that they want to do this evening?
Emmy asked if there are any books for sale.
I immediately thought of Camille when she started talking. I was like, oh yeah, books!
She has like 3 books.
Brand looking for
Yeah.
something as well.
Bran said no.
Well,
I
was
will.
I was looking for magical items, but I guess the scrolls counted as that. So
Yeah, you didn't find anything too major, anything too impressive beyond that.
alrighty.
Whoever is wanting, I do find a book vendor. One person, roll 1d8.
Emmy,
Okay. Is there a way to just roll? Or do I have to do this on my own? there a way to do it through
slash RD20, is that right?
I always forget.
Yes, it is.
I just use the dice on the side.
There you go.
Perfect.
Stop asking Brenna to roll dice.
One book does come into interest you a little bit. You start reading the summary. It's a delightful love triangle between a human woman and two suitors, a vampire and a lycan.
No.
All.
Oh my god, no!
Go on.
Damn you, Emmy.
Although it is romantically charged, the book uses anticipation of intimacy more than intimacy itself. Far less of a romance novel and more of an angsty, prepubescent dreamscape of hormones and unreal expectations of relationships. The book is called Twilight.
I was gonna say,
How
it's
much
an
is it?
animal.
It's in the bargain bin.
It's a species.
It catches your attention.
The rubbish bin.
You found it on the ground outside. Someone threw it down after they realized what they bought.
I'll let one more person have a book if they want it.
God damn it.
Dante's not there.
Got to keep the book?
Yeah,
come
Camille's
back.
not there
Sure,
either.
Sircha's there. She'll take a shot. Here. You want me to roll 1d8?
1d8.
Please get the same book.
How about an 8?
That's much better.
There you go.
Remembering the conversation at breakfast this morning, you do find a book that you feel would be useful. Written as a guide for new mothers, experts in the field, devoted to the followers of Sister Ava. Nanny Rita Tickle explains the basic care of a newborn to toddler. This innovative guide covers important milestones for each stage of life in a simplistic and easy to understand format.
Oh
Super
my
Nanny.
Oh my god.
Super Nanny to the Rescue is the name of the book.
Please channel Dante and buy that book.
We do.
I love that
we do
so
have an
much.
expectant mother.
Oh god.
No,
And she
no,
would
no,
Emmy
no.
would
buy it.
also, yes, Emmy would highly encourage Saoirse to buy the book.
Yeah.
That would be
For a
such a
moment,
wonderful gift.
I think Dante and Camille would want to buy this book for the expectant mother.
Dante could hand it off to whoever else he blabs about it to.
Exactly. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So Saoirse would go
Tickle.
ahead and buy it.
That's not how that works. Sorry, Dante.
So how much
Dante's
is the
not there.
book?
I'll say 5 silver per book.
Okay.
Easy. I'm sure I can haggle down a price for that lovely Twilight book, right? Who's really about to go grab that one?
I'll give it to you for 4.
Hey.
Oh my god.
I'll admit, out of character, when you brought up with the conversation this morning, over the breakfast table, I thought you were referring to the confusion over the 5-finger discount. That's
Same.
what Camille was thinking of. I thought it was a book for Camille.
There's other books on the list, but 8 was actually Super Nanny to the Rescue.
I adore the fact that you gave her the name Rita Tickle.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's
character
Rita
is
Tickle.
stuck with you.
For anyone else that doesn't know, but it's probably just Bran and Yumi and I. There's a game called Cat Lady, and one of the characters is this British actor that's way over the top. Rita Tickle, my name is Rita Tickle.
Wow.
She's from the nanny.
Rita Tickle. Yeah,
Rita
she's
Tickle.
she's from the Happy Nanny Agency.
Yes.
Oh, she's so stupid.
So that's why that was there. With everyone happy with their purchases and going back to camp, anything else that anyone would like to do this evening?
I'd like to join the card game.
Okay.
And Saoirse
Perfectly
would hand
acceptable.
off the book to Dante, saying, I think you and Camille might find this a helpful gift for the expectant mother.
Dante will actually beam a little bit at the thought of that, and then he just sort of his brow furrows as he sort of realizes you might want to give that to Camille. Don't know how that would go down if I gave it to Delilah.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll give it to Camille. And then Saoirse would go find Camille and hand
she's
it
right
over.
there. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, she would just turn to and say, if you wanted to give it to our young mother.
What? Ooh. And she looks over at it and she reads the summary. Interesting. Thank you. And she looks up at Saoirse and smiles.
And on
Not
top
a
of that,
problem.
having
what's
joined
that?
the little circle. And on top of that, look what else we found. And I pull out the other book.
What? You've got so many books. Oh, this is so nice.
It's good to have books. It's how you learn.
What's this though?
So this one, so I've heard about it. And, I feel like maybe it gets a bad rap. So I figured if I ever came across it, I would try it for myself. I'll show her the summary of it.
Oh. And Camille kind of, like a broad smile, and she's reading it, and slowly her smile just, like, it just disappears. It disappears, and she's like...
It gets a real bad rap.
Well, I'm not one to say that I've read a lot of books, because the books I've read have been interesting, but funny. This one, however... it just
It's a
tells
bargain.
Well, how much... well, if it makes you happy, I mean...
I'll let you know how it is when I'm done reading it, and I'll lend it to you if you want.
Oh, I've got 3 books. But you can tell me the little story if you'd like. We've got a long way to go.
Oh, certainly. You need to read faster, though. 3 books, you're behind.
Oh, I've been lazy. She kind of is embarrassed to say that. It's just not that interesting.
Lazy, busy. We'll make it work. We'll find time. We can start our own little book club. Oh, that would be so much fun.
What's a book club?
Oh, well, so what I used to do with some folks I used to travel with a long time ago, we also like to read, and we found we read some of the same books, so we sat together and we drank some milk. Well, she liked to drink something a little heavier than milk like some of the others here, but we'd sit together and we'd talk about it, and then we'd decide on another book to read together, and we'd talk about it some more.
Camille's face is so confused and bewildered.
Oh, it's so much fun.
That is so strange. Well, I guess if it's fun, then yeah?
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Book club.
Mhm.
Dante, we're starting a book club.
That sounds wonderful. He just sort of stares at you. You have fun with that.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun, and if you can read the book with us, and then you'll be able to join in. And even if you didn't read it, you can just sit with us, and we'll just chat it up. We'll eat a little food. We'll have a little drink. I'll set the lights and have a nice little ambiance depending on what book we're reading. It'll be a marvelous time.
Camille, at this point, her smile looks very forced, but she doesn't want to be rude. She just gives Dante a look like, help.
Dante is conflicted at the moment. As much as he takes pleasure in leaving her to hang and do this book club, he also feels sympathetic. Well, let's organize that for a later date. It is getting late tonight, so maybe it's bedtime. He just sort of looks around at the others. It's bedtime, right?
Yes, Delilah needs to sleep. Right, Delilah?
when we get some downtime, like maybe in Roteberg, maybe somewhere else after Roteberg, we could try a book club. Yeah, when things settle down a
Oh,
little bit.
wonderful! Perfect,
Couple
perfect.
couple of months from now.
Well, for how long it might take to read the book?
Oh well. Yeah. You know. We'll see later this year. We'll see like how we're traveling and whether we have enough downtime to form this book club, this particular one.
I'm sure it won't take that long. It's but a book.
But
Did you ask Boltzmann yet?
I did not. I have not found him since I sat down here to play cards with y'all. I will go do that. Hang on just a moment. She'll get up and go scoot off.
if anyone's gonna read a book,
she watches as Emmy leaves, and as she looks at Dante like, oh my god.
I'd rather live the book than read it, but there, it's okay. It's okay. Just kind of pats her on the shoulder. It's okay. It's your turn. Pull a card. Come on, hurry up.
Don't rush me. Yeah, they continue to play cards.
So yeah, you guys are able to, have a pleasantly uneventful night. Able to make camp, able to go about your business in the evening. Some of you spending time, I'm sure, doing your normal tasks of prepping and those types of things. Yes.
DM, because of that arrow. Would Boltzmann be able to, inside his own tent, probably take some time to inspect that arrow? Probably try to make a reverse engineer it, try to make one for himself.
Yes, you'd be able to do that. I will tell you that because of the nature of this, that there is a risk of unhappiness.
Of course,
of you being able to.
Of course.
So in the process of investigation, there is a higher chance than even the ones that you've made before, or even the ammo the first time you made it. There's a much higher chance of things not going right and causing catastrophic failure and causing it to blow up. So it is possible, but there is there's a high risk.
Yes. Yeah. So essentially, yeah, probably Boltzmann would just take take the first, the initial and precautionary inspections on how to approach this, and probably upon realizing that there would be a chance for an even larger, for a big disaster to happen, you'd think that it wouldn't be the best to do that here in quite a crowded public camping ground.
In your own tent.
Yeah. And then probably when they get to Roteberg or somewhere alone, Anyways.
Yeah. Inn will be much better. A wooden inn will be much better.
By the woods. Or probably inside a certain person's house. But anyways.
Okay.
But anyways, given that, Boltzmann's just gonna make the explosive arrows for Saoirse, his own version, at least.
Okay. Yeah, take off the time materials that you have. Make sure we keep track of the how many we use for the powder, so we can keep track of when we're out.
It was 20 pounds, I believe. How many? It was 20 pounds.
It's in that handout, the Betty Boom handout.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's in there. It's the bigger one of those. There's a horn and then there's a keg. You got the keg.
Okay. Wunderbar.
Anybody else doing something specific this evening?
Just to set up where she's sleeping, wherever her tent or bedroll or however that is, she'd like to set that up behind, for privacy, behind like the bushy area, and she's going to set not making it known, but she's setting the alarm spell around where she's sleeping.
Okay. And I'm not sure if I added that to your equipment before or not, but you probably, being out on your own to this point, you already have camping supplies and things like that. So you're kind of already set up separately. So you just kind of set up your own spot and kind of make sure it's away from the main crowd where they are, and kind of back towards the back, so you have some privacy. Sure. Anyone else doing something specific?
Go on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would also add that as well, seeing that how we're in a like a public area. Yeah, Boltzmann would also rig up an alarm in his tent. The alarm spell.
Okay.
That's just it.
Okay. Brand, what were you doing?
Do we have a campfire set up by any chance?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Can Bran attempt to make a little bit of a supper for everyone?
Jamaican.
Bratwurst supper.
Go ahead. Try it out.
Let us see. With my measly 4. 21. Holy crap.
So even though you guys are... Yeah, you guys are definitely used to Bran's sausages. But...
Dante loves brown sausage.
This time, things have improved greatly. These, the way that it's prepared, the ingredients used to make it just so much different. You can barely tell that these are just sausages. They're used in a different way than he normally does, and you can definitely see that the improvement is happening in Bran's cooking abilities. And you guys have this pot of sausage pieces and almost like a stew consistency, but it is very yummy.
Oh, it's Bran, you could start a business with this. This is delicious.
Thank you kindly, Boltzmann. It's the dream.
Going to retire into an inn, selling coconuts and meals.
Well, ever since we started renting out this cart here, I might think about taking it on the road. Mobile snack station.
That might be the most brilliant idea in the entire universe.
A coconut cart or something like that.
Bran, you're a genius. Gods.
And have Addie pull the wagon.
Yeah, she's gonna be your little mascot.
She's the mascot.
Well, I don't think little would be the appropriate term in the future, but
You don't
she's still my little girl.
You don't like priests and clockwork?
Oh, they're fine. They're fine. It's just
they get along really well together. That's why I had to take both of them.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they sleep next to each other all the time and everything.
You've only had them for 8 hours. Like 10 hours.
Hey,
They grew up so fast.
I'm just telling a story here. Whether they believe it or not is another thing.
Boltzmann's still
They're
wrapping his head around Dante naming them Clockwork and Ass. And Clockwork
Priest.
An ass? Oh my god.
Clockwork ass.
Boltzmann's stripper name right over there. Oh my god.
Awkward chaos.
Oh god.
Priest and us. Named after my two favorite asses. Sorry.
So you guys are able to finish the meal, be able to continue the evening, and rest. Have a full rest. You guys wake up in the morning and are able to again get things going. Continue your travels to Roteberg. The day passes without too much issues. Kind of later in the day, you do see on the forefront coming in, kind of storm clouds, kind of rolling in from the west, and look like they will move in heavier as the day continues. Again, same kind of conditions here. It's very farmland. Not a whole lot of different scenery. You've seen one bean patch. You've seen them all. So it's monotonous to say the least. But it is easy travel as far as being able to move quickly and without any kind of heavy terrain or high hills or anything like that. Just before dusk, you guys have traveled most of the day. The rain kind of begins to come in, gentle and light at first, and then begins to get a bit heavier as the darkness continues to fall, as the sun comes down, and you need to. There is no town here, so you would need to prepare a camp. Would you guys? You can find a place. You can just drive off the road and just go off to the side of the road, or you can go and kind of dig a little bit deeper and see if you can find something a little bit more secluded. Which would you guys want to do?
Sorsha, what was your best advice on this?
Probably best to be undercover. A little ways away from the road. But whatever everyone else feels most comfortable with.
Shisha, as you kind of are asked the question, you're kind of looking about that. You do hear some water. As you kind of look around, you see almost this kind of almost like an into the farmland, but almost this one little area that's kind of got a little bit of a pond. It's not too far off the main road, but it's off the main road for sure. It's got a little pond, almost like a wetland area, where the large base of a tree is at the center, and this is like the main water source. And you can hear the water kind of trickling, coming from the base of this tree, and you see this kind of field-ish, but removed away from the side of the road. But you do see this kind of area where this tree looks like one time it would have been a very massive tree, but it's been cut down, and there are very few trees like this in the immediate area. This section does have some trees around it, so it does provide some good cover, which is a good spot.
Yeah, she would point that out to everyone, indicating that, yeah, I think that seems like a good spot for us, a little ways away from the road. We'll have a little more privacy then.
Okay. So you guys again set up camp. You do find a kind of a flat, dry area near the tree and kind of near the cover that's there. But you guys are able to set it up and still remain kind of covered in some way. You guys are able to set up camp. Is there anything that you guys would like to do this evening?
No.
Camiel just at this point is just watching over Delilah. Honestly, that's all she's been doing.
She seems to be in much better spirits than she was the first day. She does seem kind of bored and kind of not used to long travel, but is appreciative that she's not walking. Is appreciative that she has shade in the summer and then the rain, in the heat and in the rain. and she doesn't have the sun on her all day or the rain on her, so she's very appreciative of that. She's in as good as mood as you've seen her. Seemingly okay, trying to be a part of the group, trying to help out when she can.
Aw. Yeah.
We have a cohort.
The M. All right.
Yep.
What is the weather? Is it?
It is raining. As soon as as it gets later in the dusk time, when the sun starts to go down, the rain kind of does get a little bit heavier, and then it becomes pretty steady once the night falls. You guys are able to set up camp. You guys can use your tents in the wagon, and you're able to set up a fire without too much problem. Especially around this one patch where it's kind of covered up by trees. You do have a little bit of cover from there. But overall, it's raining. Not too hard, but it's kind of a solid rain.
Well, since we are like in some road that there doesn't seem to be much people around, or any people around.
Yeah, you guys have moved off the road. This is probably off the road at least 300 feet, 400 feet.
It's all coming together now. Boltzmann would excuse himself, look for and would just tell Bran, Bran, if there's a large explosion, please, and try to see if I'm still alive. And he would just pat Bran's shoulder, and
Bran is used to Boltzmann's antics at this point, and he kind of, he's just leaning over the campfire, kind of poking it with a stick and petting Addie, and he's just,
yeah,
Sure thing, son.
explosions.
And yeah, Boltzmann would try to find a good distance between, not outside of view. Rather just a decent distance so that if anything bad would happen, the others wouldn't be affected.
This is kind of to the west side of, like, 300 yards away from the main road is this kind of clearing, and then is this kind of a little bit of trees, and then behind that, again further west, is the kind of wetland field that you found with the tree. And then you could probably come a little bit north of that and be away from everything, but still be visible from the basically flatland area in front of the campsite.
Under the canopy of a tree or something, just to keep the rain away. And Boltzmann would prepare his items so that he could try to see what he can do with the explosive arrow with the fireball.
Okay, so if you let's do an investigation first, and then if you want to investigation first, and that will be simply inspecting it completely, making sure that you've detailed everything about it, and seeing how well your overall concept of it is before you actually crack into it and try to build the inner pieces.
And what was it? And before, just part of his preparation, he's already laid out some of his. Oh no, let's do the investigation first, just to see. And that is 8. Wow, that's a sucky 13.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So you've got some idea of how the external components of this is. If you would like to, you'd have to use your tool to be able to kind of try to get into it and try to figure out the pieces. These would be the only 2 things you could do this evening. The rest of it would take time to be able to do each step of this. So as you're carefully trying to unpiece this.
Yeah. As a precautionary measure, though, as Boltzmann is now laying out his neatly laying out his tools right beside him, he also pulls out Barnabas, and Barnabas right beside him. He's activated it to shield generator mode to add a bit of temporary HP.
Okay.
And do you need me to roll for temp HP right now, or?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm gonna roll.
As soon as you turn that off, that goes away, though, right?
What do you mean by turn? Yeah, as soon as I deactivate.
You put. Yeah. Okay.
That's 1d8 plus 4, and I get 10 temporary HP for the next few minutes. And also, just for the flavor, he's just also like preparing the absorb element spell just in case. And with that, he's already charging up the like protective the abjuration aspects of his armor. And now with that, bracing himself, he now takes out his tinkerer's tools and starts diving in a bit deeper. So what do I
You have
need to do?
You have your all tool, right?
Yes, I do.
That has a plus
Yeah,
one.
it's an all tool, but so what do I roll?
That should
I
have
think-
a roll on it, right?
Yeah. But
Your
essentially I can just choose what sort of tool I would use. So I will roll with intelligence. What do I need to roll with it? Which stat?
I thought it was built into it. I thought it was already, as the device, it already had it built in. Does it not?
It does, but it has a query on what sort of attribute.
Okay. Yeah, it would be intelligence.
All right.
It's
So-
whatever your magic and your So if it's intelligence with you.
So the roll here plus 1. So I'm using it as Tinker tools.
Mhm.
So it is that's a 24 total.
Okay. Excuse me. So yeah, you are able. You are out there in this field. I'm thinking about this. It's raining.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark. You have night. You don't have
No.
night vision, right?
Well, in that case, if it really is that dark, then Boltzmann would take like one of his non-magical tools, or even just a rock, infuse magic with it, so that
you
it
have
would
light
glow.
spell. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would
so-
say that you would know that ahead of time. Otherwise, yeah. Okay. So you are able to kind of pull this piece. Pull this piece away from the main body of this thing, and you're able to see the inner workings a little bit better than you did see before. And you kind of can look at it and see, little things here and there to be able to say, okay, I can understand what's kind of going on here. Because of your investigation, you're not 100% sure what all this is. And it will take more time kind of doing this again to be able to kind of put everything, get to a high enough degree of competency with it so that you'd be able to recreate it. But yes, you are on your way to learning how to do that.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, in that case, seeing after everything has been, I've learned everything that I can. Boltzmann would, rather than try to actually, so I don't think he would, because of that investigation check, he wouldn't have any idea which are the reactive and inert components of the fire of the arrow are. The ones that exploded,
Right.
that don't.
So you're looking at something, but you're not 100% sure what you're looking at. So it'll take more time investigating, more time and more rolls to be able to actually figure out what's going on to have an idea.
in that case, Boltzmann will try to like piece it all back together if he
Okay.
can.
I'll
Then-
let you use those same rolls, so you're good with that.
So after that, he would just he would smile towards Barnabas, and after piecing the entire thing back together, he will put it back into his bag of holding, and that's it for him tonight. He's just gonna pack up and go back to camp.
Anyone else want to do anything? I have one thing before we get ready to finish up here, but anything else anyone wants to do before we do this one last thing?
I mean,
Did I
he's
try
been
to make another
hiding.
thing for dinner? Oh,
Sorry, Camille wanted to do
No,
something.
I'm super simple. Emmy's just been hiding. She's as soon as it started raining, she was like using her scarf to cover herself as much as possible. And as soon as they were able to make camp, and it was raining heavier, she immediately made her camp and is in her tent just reading instead of being out in the rain.
Okay.
Anyone else before I go?
Sirsha, as they're making camp, or as things, as everyone seems to be winding down, once they've had dinner, she would take out 4 arrows and cast Cordon of Arrows.
Okay. That's not concentration, right? We already just
No,
I say that, but yeah. Okay.
Concentration. Yep, that did not. There we go. That's the one I wanted. There you go.
Yep. Okay. So you're able to do that? No problems. Anybody else?
If Emmy is still going to rig up Boltzmann would ask if Emmy, if she has any, any spells to set up a sort of alarm. And he would ask if she's going to set one up around the camp, so that Boltzmann could just maximize the effect, maximize the area that they'd cover with both of them.
She without too much explanation, as if she's kind of very hurriedly trying to stay inside, says after the day's ride, she's only really gonna set up around her tent just energy efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes back into her tent, her book.
Okay then. Then Boltzmann would just go.
Good night.
Good night. You sleep well. Yeah, and Boltzmann would just set up an alarm spell over at where he might think would be a what do you call this? A path where some things or people might sneak up on them from,
Okay.
just to be sure.
So who has their own tent? So Emmy has her own tent. She brought that. Is there any people sharing tents, or everybody have their own, or what's up with that?
I assumed we all had our own tent.
Yeah, we all have
Yeah, I do
our
believe it.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Sirsha would take her usual spot in a tree and kind of tie herself to a branch.
God
instead
damn
of
it! You
Watching
beat me to it.
everything.
Camille would just look and she's like, "You beat me to it."
There's not a whole lot of trees here. There is a large tree stump that is behind to the further west, away from the road. That large stump that's been cut. There's some bushes and foliage around it, and there's a few little trees near you guys, but nothing. I don't know that there would be. There's nothing there that would be. This is farmland, so there's not a whole lot of big, tall trees. So there's nothing I don't think that would be able to support you and keep you like above ground like that.
Okay, never mind then. I mean, she'd be willing to take first watch, and she'd set up at the base of the tree, of the nearest tree.
Okay.
Just kind of with her cloak, cloak wrapped around herself, hood up.
Okay. Delilah will take the wagon. She'll stay in the wagon.
Yeah, and Camille will actually check up on Delilah, make sure that she's nice and cozy, nice and dry and warm, and she'd actually just sit under a tree and enjoy the rain, really.
So if you guys are gonna go, you guys are taking watches. Who's gonna go first?
Saoirse would take first watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Saoirse would go first.
Roll a perception check as the camp settles down.
Okay. 8. Yeah.
Okay. You are able to, you're able to sit up and kind of watch over, pretty much uneventful for your first pass here. Who's taking second?
That would be Camille, since she is by the tree. By a tree, sorry.
Roll a perception.
Okay.
Okay. So as you guys are resting, Dante,
Yes, sir.
your normally easy rest comes a bit tougher this evening. You start thinking about. First off, you start thinking about Delilah, her situation, just overall, just thinking about the position that she's in, how rough it is. You've been trying to help as much as possible because you're gonna, you stepped in it in the early spats, but then trying to make a comeback for that, and you think about Emmy, new to the group, but she seems kind of fun and exciting, especially for someone who likes Boltzmann, whose interests are aligned. You think about Camille, once little sister, who is now, you joke about being the leader, but no matter the title, is someone that you have put your trust in on the battlefield and you deem worthy to risk your own life for. Outside of the group, you think about some of the girls that you've previously flirted with, shown magic tricks to. Girls that serve as distractions for short times, like Shadowhawk from the Birds of Prey, a few lovely ladies from the Manticore's Den, and the White Lady. Then your thoughts turn to more innocent endeavors, girls like Liv Ligura. Then things turn darker, cloudier. There's a slew of faces. Most you don't remember fully, some only in a drunken haze. These were before you settled down, before the group gave you a little something more to fight for. The last image you see is Lucinda. The last expression to ever fall on her face. The surprise, the pain, the horror, all shown in one fading grimace. You begin to squirm. Your breathing becomes shallow. And with every breath, more and more weight is being put on your chest. As you focus on this pain and darkness, Lucinda's face becomes darker. The creature of Aura now becoming one with her flesh, surrounding her, enveloping her. You feel the pounding of your heart racing faster than it ever has. You awaken, panicking, screaming, but you are muffled You see only darkness. This weight on your chest is not a panic attack, but there's something crushing you, laying on you. Suddenly, Camille, you see the tent that Dante is in completely collapsed with a large figure. Dante, you're being crushed by something laying on you, large, flesh-like. It's crushing you. You're considered grappled under this creature. There's a guttural, rumbling scream, almost like a howl. Almost like a piercing screech. You awaken and you see Dante. It was just a bit ago. You see a large, nude human figure, dirty. A woman whose skin color mimics the bark on the trees and the moss and the trees around you. She lets out a scream, revolting. She lets out this huge scream. And that is where we will pick up next week.
You mother... Fuck.
You know, I was just thinking how on the traveling and like shopping sessions, it tends to be relatively calm and not everyone loves those, but I always tend to figure they end with a bang, so like...
Well, Boltzmann didn't blow himself up, so something had to happen.
Yeah.
It's true.
Very true.
Yeah, that could go
There we
bad.
go.
But yeah, that is where we'll end it this evening.
Cool.
We will pick up next week as Dante has this creature on top of him.
Cool.
Alright, didn't set off any of the one's alarm.
No, it did not. For one moment, Camiel sees the tent and then sees this creature completely collapse like the tent, almost in a blink of an eye. It kind of becomes corporeal over the tent of Dante, completely encompassing him.
Can I ask what? So did Dante see a creature, or does he still see?
You are currently underneath something. You feel flesh when you try to push. You cannot because it is. We'll go into the details of it next week. But you feel flesh completely sitting. You feel something sitting on your chest, crushing you from on top of you.
Okay.
For the others, when Camiel opens her eye, when Camiel looks over and sees this corporeal, large, 500, 600-pound woman just sitting naked on your chest.
Dante's reputation precedes him. Okay. Because he can see, but I'm asking because he can see in the dark. Like he has dark vision, so he doesn't. He just sees dark.
It went from a dreamlike state to you being on something being on top of you. It was a smooth transition. As soon as she's on top of you, you can't see anything because it's completely encompassing all of your sight.
Okay, cool.
So that's where we'll leave it for this week. I do want to say thank you to all of our supporters. We did have a follow this week, Calathera. I didn't mention that last week, so I want to mention that. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for all of our followers and supporters every week for being here, being part of the show. If you missed any part of this episode, the VOD will be immediately available on Twitch, but they won't stay there forever if you want to catch up on any of our previous episodes on the campaign. Our link to our YouTube is below. Search Black Dragon RP and look for the big dragon eye logo. Last thing before we go, I do want to take a moment. Shout out to our players for another great week. In the info blocks below, you'll see some links. Go check out these wonderful people, like Throwaway Doodles, Ellen, who plays Boltzmann, RPG Theologian Rob, who plays Saoirse, the Relentless Hunter Aaron, who plays Branimir, and then some who stream on Twitch like Thumpernox, Ryan, who plays Dante, and Yumi Sagara, Tony, who plays Cameo. And then last but not least, Brenna, who plays Emmy full-time writer, streamer, who is on Twitch nearly every day on her Bryn Nailed It channel. I'm somewhere between I am Brad. I am known as Monocle Moose on all platforms. Go check all of us out. Info below. I think that wraps up this episode from us. Thank you very much for being here. We will see you here again next week. Same time, same Twitch channel. We love you very much. And goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.